Ah, here we are, chilling. I'm testing it to make sure, the power stream labs never fails to disappoint. Hey Mo, what's up, man? The weekly's last stream. Hey Mo, yeah, thanks for tuning in, man. Hope you doing all right. Hey, what's up, Elijah Pippin? What's up? Yo, I got your message. I'm gonna cover. I haven't opened it, but I did get your message. I'm gonna do that tonight for sure. I was on the phone. It's a long day. Guess I could talk about it and not put too much personal business out there, but a friend of mine's wife just bounced on him. It's fucked up. With the kids. I'm gonna put all his business out there, but and it's December 21st. That's horrible timing, to say the least. So I'm gonna leave my phone on all night because he by himself. She took the kids. He called me saying his wife left. Like, yo, that's fucked up. But I'm gonna leave my phone on in case he might, you know how I get when it be nighttime and you fuck around and be depressed and shit. So I told him, I'm gonna leave my phone on all night. So if you feel like you need to call, because you might, be losing or something, hit me up. I'll pick up. I'll be here. But yeah, man, hope we gonna be all right. That's rough. Because it just happened. You know what I mean? Like, is that should have just... He's too new. Like, it happened, and he ain't... Like, he's not... I don't think he's in the condition to hear some real shit right now. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's more in that position. He just needs to be just, agreed with and just be there to listen to him right now. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a fresh wound. He ain't ready to get beat up yet. But I was thinking after we talked, man, it's like, I just don't, I mean, I'm not saying I'm better or worse, but because me and my girl talk about it, I just don't put that much faith. Maybe because I lost so many people in my life to death, relatively at a younger age. I just learned at a younger age to not put too much into another human. You know what I'm saying? Even if I'd love the other human for whatever reason, even then, I just learned to not do that. So it's for me, so because we talk about it, me and my girl, we talk about it because I told y'all I had 4 female exes die, 2 from just random natural causes and 2 from just partying too much, and so now I know what it's like to really lose someone versus just somebody just don't like you anymore type of shit, right? So for me, I'm not trying to downplay people who who've had a girlfriend, because we've all been heartbroken at some point. Make sure the volume's up. Because we've all been heartbroken at some point, but okay, when you lose a lot of people, I say a fair amount of people to death who were close to you at a more younger age, for how I took it, now I know what that real loss is. So for me, for a woman or a loved one to just be mad at me and don't want to talk to me anymore, to me that's now I want to say, I guess I would still kind of be a little hurt, but it doesn't hurt anywhere near, because I know what that real loss is that real loss of I remember when my first girlfriend died. She randomly had a heart attack. I've told this story plenty of times before on here in my older streams, but she was 21 and randomly had a heart attack, dude, and just fell out on the phone. And I remember just that sense of loss was so much deeper, dude, than just somebody just not like you anymore. And you got to kind of figure it out type of shit, you know what I mean? Because rarely do motherfuckers just come to you and say, I don't like you anymore. You just kind of got to figure it out. But when that loss to death is that's a whole different level of law. That's an entirely different level that you just can't even prepare for. Cause like I remember when she died, like I remember thinking to myself, like we were supposed to argue again. We were supposed to get mad at each other again. You know, we were supposed to and when you come to that conclusion, like, yo, like it's never gonna happen again. That was like just that was heartbreaking. The first time that happened to me, that was heartbreaking shit, right? Like heartbreaking shit. I'd be like randomly out or just randomly driving down the street and just start crying, dude. Like that was like a whole different level of hurt. So like for me, like as me and my girl talk about it, you know, and I think low key, I think she's kind of like hurt how I said it. But you know, if a person just leaves, like that's like, yo, I'm, you know, at least I know you all right. You just don't like me anymore. You know what I mean? But like, at least I know you're all right out there in the world somewhere. Like. You know, so for me, like I that's just not a big. I mean, for me, I don't say it's gonna hurt, but it's not like a super, you know, big thing. Because the one girl, she died. She had a heart attack. The other one, she had cancer, and the other two died. One died. Well, both of them died from drug overdoses. The one I knew she was gonna. She had told me she tried to kill herself before. She said when she would get out of prison. Or jail, not prison. She would go to jail for something stupid, like, you know, stealing something or something like that. She would go to like, you know, like a jail for a quick minute. And when she would get out, she would intentionally take more dope than she knew she could handle to hope she would kill herself. And she never did. But this time, like, I mean, I don't know exactly how she died when she died, but I'm pretty sure it was from she OD'd. I'm pretty sure it was because she told me she had tried to do it before, and it did, and it would never work. And the other one, she OD'd, and they just threw her body out in somebody's front yard. I caught it on the news. She was with some people and was and OD'd, and they just threw her out in somebody's yard and drove off and left her body there, just, you know, fucked up. So like for me, man, like I don't know. That's a whole long story. What's up, Billy? JD, J1. What's up, man? I know what you mean, AD. When someone doesn't like you anymore, it's easy to walk away. Death is painful because they don't exist no more. Yeah, Mo, for sure. Yeah, because they just don't exist anymore. That's a whole different level of being fucked up, in my opinion, man. Like, they don't like, but it's like until you truly feel that, like until you like truly walk down that path in life, like it's harder. It's hard to assume it. It's hard to assume it when it happens, like personally to you. Yeah, Elijah, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go over it for sure. I'm gonna wait a little bit so people can, you know, come in. If anybody, you know, see if anybody does, any more people do come in. What's up, D Champ? Thanks for tuning in, man. But yeah, you know, he's fucked up, and his wife bounced on him on like, was it 5 days before Christmas? Moved out, took the kids with her, and you know, so he's fucked up. He's real fucked up, man. I told him, yeah, like you said, the phone's on. I'll leave it on, you know, all night. So in case he, you know, fucks around and, you know, has a low moment at 2 a.m. or something like that, give me a call. But yeah. Then I was just thinking also, you know, like, because people used to ask me, like, what did I think about Kevin Samuels, the dude before he died? He died, dude, Kevin Samuels. And my thoughts were like, I mean, the only negative, because in my opinion, if you have to give an opinion about anything, you have to have something good or something bad about it to have anywhere near of a well-rounded, you know, opinion on anything. And the only issue that I had was, and I remember I said it back then, the only issue I had with him is I thought he was a bit old to be doing this. I personally thought he was a bit old to be doing it. But maybe, I mean, now I'm thinking about maybe not, because YouTube is a way to reach so many people from around the world. It's pretty much YouTube is YouTube to many people's personal businesses and life is just a godsend, because you don't have to, like you pay rent, but you don't pay rent. Like it's not coming like directly out of your pocket. It's like, you know, free from the creator's perspective, it's free advertisement. So it's like you can just get this whole social media thing is like is really quite amazing, honestly, from what people had access to 20 years ago with this shit. So, but just from my personal standpoint on it, like I don't want to be doing this when I'm 40. All right. I mean, it's not that I don't have to do it now. I could pretty much say there's a low chance I'm going to be doing this for years after now, because I just feel well, multiple things. One, I do want to. I kind of want to go into teaching at a university, which here shouldn't be too much of a problem. And if I go teach at a university, that puts the baby in, like, here, if you go teach at a university, then they have a school that's only for people who are faculty at the university. So that'd be the only reason why I would do it, is just to put him in that school and to get him in that academic world, get him deep in that academic world. That way we know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and we got connections and we know what to do type of shit. That'd be the only reason why. That'd be a major reason why I do it. And the other reason is just to get around people who are about something again in life. I mean, because here's the thing, man. The further you trickle off from universities, the more grim life becomes. Like the further you trickle away from universities, where people are doing something and they doing something with their life and they're like truly about life type of shit. Like the further you go away from universities, the more grim this shit gets, dude. Like it gets, because I ain't been around a university in person in a while. And when I went back up there to universities here, like, it was like, wow, motherfuckers actually know how to speak direct and just answer a fucking question and move on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Wow, like the real world is so much different. I mean, the real world is so shitty. You know what I mean? Like the real world, dude, the real world compared to being in a university setting, the real world is so shitty. I mean, unless you're in like a certain walk of life with people who maybe like they all work at a place that promotes genuine human growth type of shit. Like the world is fucking shitty, dude. Like I see, with that I see why so many motherfuckers are walking around depressed and fucked up and all this. Because like the more you trickle from that connection of access to the rest of the world, the more segregated everybody just becomes. Like, it's horrible, man. Like, the more you trickle away from it, it's terrible. The more, whew. And I'm lucky because I got that tie with the VA. I mean, I got that military shit and tie with the VA. So I'm always going to have some way to get out. You mean, like, well, I say always, okay, as long as the U.S. military and VA still gives half a fuck, okay, for whatever reason, I'm always going to have a path out or something, right? Because and the reason why I'm a little better off than, the typical veteran is because I actually worked in the VA, so I know how the system works. And that's an important part with that American military system is just like like a typical government, they're not going to go out their way to give you something, okay? They're not, because I share a personal experience. I have an uncle, right? I have an uncle who was in, I think, the Army, and he got discharged because something like his appendix had burst, right? I still don't know the exact story. And here's the other weird part is whenever I talk to people who were in the military, like, everything you did in the military is tracked. Most of the shit that most people ever did in the military, it's going to be some paper trail of what you did, all right? Anybody who's ever anywhere near the military knows this, right? Or if they worked in the VA, they'll tell you, like, anything you ever... So here's the thing. Whenever I talk, and especially my own uncle, and this is the weird part, I spoke to my own uncle about it. The story that I got is that he was discharged because his appendix burst while he was in there. And the military accepted fault. Like, yeah, we let him go and did this. So they took the fault. And that's the biggest, most important part you need for the U.S. military to get benefits from them is to get them to accept fault. Like, yeah, we did this shit. We let you in and for whatever reason and fucked you up type of shit. But he's not getting anywhere near the amount that he should be getting. You know what I'm saying? And I told my dad, he's like, I think he's like 70 now. I told my dad, like, yo, he should be retired. He shouldn't be out there working because he left on way better terms than I did with the military. And I know, like, yo, he should not, unless there's something else missing to the story I ain't heard about, he should be getting, but he just don't, he doesn't go down there and just get the benefits. So here's a big misconception in America is that when you become a veteran, somebody just going to come knocking on your door to give you some money, right? It doesn't work like that. Right? How America works is, okay, how the VA and the military is going to work in the VA is they going to hope, okay, for anybody who's even in the military in the U.S., when you're in there, they discourage you from going to the doctor. They don't want you, they always will talk you out of going to the doctor, no matter what it is. because right, because and here's the sick cycle of how it happens. And it's purely that worker slave mentality that the U.S. Every military is going to have it at some point, right? Because that's just what it is. The military has historically always been the slaves, right? Or I say a decent period of history. It's always going to be the forgotten slaves. Because the royalty are never going to put their kids out there in war. In majority of relatively newer speaking ages, right? So how the U.S. military is going to work is when you go in there, they're always going to talk. You got to go into the doctor, right? Now the superiors there, their perspective on it is you just got to be tougher because I want you to be tougher, and if I make you to be tougher, then I'll look better than my superiors. So we all got to be tough, right? They're always going to tell you not go to medical, right? Because once you go to medical, that forever is going to leave that paper trail that the military is responsible for fucking you up in some kind of way. So the military is going to have to pay you when you get out. Right? They all like the military's game is to always keep you either stupid or too afraid to go inquire about anything. Because as long as they keep you in that boat, you're never going to take any more of their resources. Right? And my uncle fell into that trap. He is never going to go down there and just walk in there and just say, hey, look, I was in here. I need some money. Well, what's your social security number? That's all they're going to do. What's your social security? Type that shit in. But he's not going to do it because he's expecting the army to go, ding, ding, ding. Here's some money for you. Would you like this money, please? They're never, like, no government is ever going to do that to their own. Very rarely, unless there's some severe ulterior motive, they're never going to just do that, right? Because they want to keep that money. They want to put plasma TVs on their kids in their kids' room. You know what I mean? They ain't... If they alert the public, now the public can come take it, right? Historically, that's what it's always been with them welfare laws, with them original welfare laws in England. That's what it was, right? They intentionally make it difficult for you to go get any money from the government, and then once you do go down there and get it, they're going to make it difficult to keep it going because the government they don't want to give you any money. They're just as greedy as you are or anybody else, any drug addict, anything. The government is no different, right? They're going to be just as greedy with it. If it's money set aside for you, they'll say, okay, we'll just make it difficult for them to come get it. That's what we'll do. So we can keep it. It really is a sick cycle, man. But since I worked in the VA and I watched how they did people down there, you see what I'm saying? I worked in there. I can't remember the name of the building now. I would tell you the exact name of the building. It's been years since I worked there before literally before I came here. I watched how they did people. I watched how they did people like for a while. And what they will lead you, what governments would like that. This is how between college and the military, I learned so much about that interpersonal manipulation to just infer something to hope they just go away and believe it. I'd say religion is also up there too. That's another magical, it really is a beautiful thing to watch. How you can just say a sentence and the person walks away and just talks themselves into doing something. It really is and I think that's what also gives me a leg up in this red pill shit as far as deeply diving into, the mentality of dynamics between woman and man type of shit is because I watched just how easy it would be to just say a sentence and that person walks away and thinks themselves into just doing something. And here's the reality from my perspective, and this is where I kind of get annoyed with humanity. Is after a while, I start to see everybody as just literally just dogs. Like dogs or maybe robots or something. Like how they just, it's almost like I don't even see myself as another human kind of thing. It gets to that point because I just kind of see everybody as just like an analysis. It's a really weird thing. But no, again, between university and military, I worked there much longer than I was actually in there, but I watched just how people can just talk themselves into believing anything. And then I grew up, in a religious setting. I grew up going to a private Christian school, and I just grew up just watching how people can just talk themselves into believing shit, right? Just talk themselves into it. I still remember one time. I can't remember what happened, but this was in boot camp, and I remember we did something. I can't remember. I think somebody probably stole some candy some kind of way or something. I can't remember what happened, but they stood us up, and one of the drill instructors, well, it wasn't even our drill instructor, it was another drill instructor. He came up and started getting in our face, yelling at us, and he goes, "God's watching you." And like that was like, see, at this point I had already been through that whole rigor of religion and all that shit like that. So you're not gonna like that's not gonna work on me. But to a person who who maybe didn't go through that, it could work on them because it's new to them. But just to watch like how people like how the military really uses religion as a weapon, they really do, and that is another engineered thing that the U.S. military does. That is an engineered weapon that they use on new recruits in boot camp. And to prove my point, for example, in Marines, that's literally the only place where drill instructors are not allowed to go. At least when I was on Paris Island, when I was there, the only place that drill instructors were not allowed to go was in a chapel, right? We had to go in there and praise God and all this and don't lie and be good and all that. That's a real big coinky dink. I mean, like, the only time, because everybody wants to get away from a drill instructor. Nobody wants to be around these motherfuckers. They're fucking terrible people. But they do a great job. But but it's it's a terrible interaction with another human. So so the only place that they're not allowed is the chapel, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that's the only place they're not allowed that most new people are going to go to. And coincidentally, the only place they're not allowed is once you can finally relax and just be told that if you always tell the truth and be good, then you'll get rewarded in the end. And then you go back out the dog shit 7 days a week. It's a beautiful. I love here's the thing. I love the cycle. I love the cycle, and yet I'm also a bit depressed at the cycle because here's the thing, man. Like humans, we don't change. We don't. Here is okay. The depressing part. Hang on. Let me grab a book real fast. So I got this. I'm reading this right now. This was a ruler, and I think in the year 140 A.D. or something like that. I can't remember exactly now. And he's just he's a philosopher, but he was a ruler. He ended up ruling with his brother. He was one of the. I think he was the only one, or one of the only ones who when they took the throne, they ruled it with a partner. And I got Aristotle somewhere in here, man. But yeah, like we're doing the same shit. You mean like the cure for social media is literally they motherfuckers figured that shit out 3,000 years ago. You know what I mean like it's all the same dynamics, dude. Like we're doing the same. Like we don't grow. You know what I mean? Like we're doing this, and because I got done reading a page in there that actually was a really good and I never thought about this like this, but he did have a great point. He said something along the lines of, he said, what difference does it make if you live 40 years or 500 years? It's not going to be, a real difference because you're just going to see the same shit over and over again. You know what I mean? And then you're just going to be old too. You know what I mean? Like, because like once you live 40 years, you've pretty much seen, once you've lived 40 years, you've pretty much seen the entire gist of what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, there's not going to be a whole lot more, unless, your body just finally dying out. But there's not going to be a whole lot more, as far as the humanity goes. Like, we're literally doing the same shit. I haven't seen Full Metal Jacket. No, I've never seen it. And everybody always asks me that. I've never seen it. I've seen a clip of it. But yeah, but like, as far as history, we're doing like literally, like They're saying the same shit that every philosopher now is saying. Don't listen to what people say. Don't, you know what I mean? Like keep your head down. Just work to just, because it's what, work for what you really want to do. If you can afford it, do what you do. Stay alone. Don't put value in material shit. It's all the same shit motherfuckers are saying. And we still don't get it. These motherfuckers had the cure has been documented for 3,000 years. And we still do it. We are dumb. And that's when it gets depressing, right? Because I got into archaeology. I didn't mention it. I got into archaeology. And it's depressing yet also funny, right? It's depressing yet also funny that to see people buried with all their gold and it's depressing that motherfuckers the whole Instagram, we're doing this, as far as the Instagram shit, motherfuckers was doing this shit fucking 2,000 years, 3,000 years, they was doing the same shit 2,000 years ago. The Instagram shit, it was the same shit. The only difference was, since they didn't have cameras, they did paintings instead and painted the people to look better than they actually did. It's the same shit. They was still fat. The motherfuckers was still fat. They weren't that attractive. It was the same. It's the same shit. We're doing the same shit. We're doing the same thing. We're just doing it in a shinier hallway, in a shinier bathroom with technology you can talk to now. But the core of us is exactly the same. And it's funny. It's funny and depressing, right? And here, the other funny and depressing part is religion. It's when it comes to religion, it's just oh my God, grow the fuck up. We study take like I said, I think about a month ago, take a religious studies class or anything. If you think your religion is special, take a religion. It's oh my God. Everybody thinks that they gonna be the closer one to God to get all they riches and all this shit You know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing about religion, right? And this is why I think religion is a fucking joke. Why is it always, which I know the answer to my personal opinion of why this is, but why is it always, if you want to go to heaven, it's always something that you really gonna want for real that you're not supposed to do? How come the pathway to heaven isn't just don't go eat a frog in the middle of the forest 5,000 miles away? As long as you just don't eat that frog, you'll go to heaven. Why are there no religions built on that? You know what I mean? Why is there no religion built off of well, yeah, you go to heaven and you will avoid hell if you go out and all you gotta do is just look to the sky for 5 seconds and look away, and you'll go to heaven. That's it. That is the requirement. Just look in the sky for 5 seconds a year, and that's your requirement to go. Why is it always some shit that you really want for real that you're not supposed to do? It's oh my God, religion on a whole, grow the fuck up, dude. Religion on a whole, just grow up. Grow the fuck up. Jesus. It's just so laughably funny. It's just so pathetic. Right? Just grow up. Everybody thinks that they got the chair, or they use Jesus' hammer, or they use Solomon's nail. Everybody thinks they got the one thing that's gonna get them everything they dream. And you're not new, bro. Everybody's doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? And if everybody has done it, nobody has come back from the dead to tell the story about it at all and all this shit like that. Yo, it must not be worth it. All right? Because if these motherfuckers got so much technology to where all you got to do is to where if you just don't jack off the porn, you're going to have all the riches on earth and all this shit you get. If they got this technology, why has no one ever came back and told them of the path of what happened? Because they got all this magical technology. Was it 72 virgins? And you got all this technology to do all this. But these motherfuckers can't even, couldn't predict an iPhone and no shit. I mean, it's like it's funny. It's funny when it's not just flat out sad, man. And it's annoying. I find it annoying. Right now, I can't really fault like the old like them ancient Egypt motherfuckers, because like they just had no real concept over like any reality. You know what I mean? Like they had no concept over medical consequences. They was still in the days of they really didn't have much concept of rain and all that shit like that. So like I really can't fault them for that. And no, I really couldn't fault them for that shit. But especially, oh my God, like, because you know what I'm saying, because they didn't have an understanding of they nowhere near the years of figuring out like, oh, you mean I'm sick because bacteria is not God's just mad at me right now, like a bacteria caused this shit. They were fucking thousands of years away from that logic, but so I can't really fault them, but like it's like nowadays it's just like. It's enough to make you go crazy. But and that's why I'm really starting to lean more towards like older philosophers, like legit philosophers, not philosophers because me and we were talking last night about the difference between like philosophy and religion, and a legit philosophy, what I would call as legit philosophy is motherfuckers, they're not trying to sell you some magical ending. You know what I mean? They teaching you how to just deal with life every day. And that's more my stance and everything. And like I'm not trying to sell you, this one thing to be done, this for some magical ending type of shit. Where that's majority of mainstream religions are going to do that, right? And it's always this whole thing of like, if you don't follow us, then you're against us shit, and all this is just completely ridiculous, Yeah. Humans didn't evolve mentally. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, man. We're literally doing the same shit. Let me open up this so I can find that video. But yeah, we're literally doing the same shit, dude. Like it's just fucking, it's just annoying if anything. But then, but you want to know what? And then the next thing is this, man. Like what I feel sorry about is that so many people are walking around not knowing that all this shit has already been documented like 3,000 years ago what to do. So everybody's thinking like they're the one independent one that nobody, that hasn't thought of anything before and all this shit like that. I mean, and they working at like, Walmart or some shit like that. Whew. That's hard, man. That's brutal. Let me copy link. Here we are. All right, so I'm going to open up this video in a minute. Yeah, like, man, we just don't fucking grow, man. Like, we're doing this. And, okay, because this guy, was it Brittany Renner or whatever her name is? This got that girl in it. And see, like, this is the other part that gets, like, almost, like so depressing and sad to where I just can't even, like, talk about it for a while. Is, like, the constant dynamic between man and woman. You know what I mean? Like, and just, and how just how ultimately, just how ultimately pathetic I think the typical woman's mentality is. With like always, like it never stops with this whole like I want beauty shit. And like historically, like there has never been a woman who's been able to hold on to her beauty forever. You know what I mean? And you would think they would grow and realize and accept it. You know what I mean? Like you would think they would and try to grow in other ways. You know what I mean? But in my opinion, like it's just so pathetic. Like it's just so sad and pathetic at the end of the day. That woman's need for validation. You know what I mean? Like it's just so like you're willing to draw on your face and cut your body open to just get attention. You know what I mean? Like that is severely depressing to me. You mean, like see, okay. Like, really think about that. Really think about how depressing it is for one to think that they need to draw on their face for fucking 2 hours, but before they can feel comfortable to be seen and all that shit. And then most times not do a bad job at it. To be seen, like that is next level fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, and like I said before, like men eventually, at some point, men will grow out of it. A lot won't, because a lot kind of just find a comfort zone in it. But there are a decent amount of men who gracefully grow out of it, right? Women never do. They never grow out of it. It's always a problem. It's always an issue. It's always a thing in their communities, for sure. Still monkeys, banana, and ears so much to tell Joe's. That's not mine. Oh, yeah. No problem. Somni. I hope I pronounced that right. I can tell, man. But no, you're good. I'm figuring. I get what you're saying. I get the joke. Bananas in here. Yeah, we're still just a bunch of monkeys, just with bananas in ears. Nobody's like, humanity just isn't evolving. It's just the technology. We're making tech, which is, in real quick, I think that's an interesting topic too. The fact that we can make technology and just kind of hand it off to somebody else and they can figure it out. I think that's that is a special thing. But on the other side of it, I think, man, the ability to overvalue our existence is also amazing too, because this whole time period of okay, because now we separate based off of like races and ethnicities. It's just human nature, where our nature is to separate, right? Because first it was the animals. Humanity figured out, like we're better than the animals type of shit. So we thought we were superior to animals. And then it grew from that to we're superior from other humans, right? And like I said a long time ago, it never ends well, because this separation shit, because like I said a long time ago, let's say if Nazi Germany had successfully done what they intended to do, right, which was to kill everybody else off or leave everybody completely separated. But let's say if the typical Nazi dream had been accomplished, which meaning that the only pure fucking races were to exist, and at some point they would start to fight each other because they wouldn't be pure and all this shit like that for whatever reason. And let's say in the end, let's say where Germany went off to exterminate and kill anybody who wasn't, white, blonde hair, blue eyes, whatever the fuck. Let's say that. I take it a step deeper. Let's say all the people who weren't German, blonde hair, blue eyes, looked at Germany and said, you know what? We're inferior. We just gonna kill ourselves. So that way we leave you alone, right? And let's say all the Polish and Czechs and everybody else and, everybody just died. They killed themselves because they recognized that Nazi Germany was number one, right? Let's take it a step deeper. Well, the only thing that would happen next is the Germans would start separating amongst themselves, and it would just continuously go deeper. Well, your pinky nail is 2 centimeters too high, and it's said in the book of Job that Jesus didn't like long pinky nails, so we're the superior race now, and it would just keep going, right? And in my opinion, I don't think we're above nature. I think we do some interesting things from our perspective, but in my honest opinion, I think we're actually quite stupid if you really, think about it, right? If in my opinion, I think as humans, we're actually really far behind in many ways. For example, you don't have to teach a tree how to eat. You don't have to teach a flower how to eat. You don't have to teach, any plant how to eat. You don't have to teach a tree how to. You don't have to get a tree to calm down so it can go to sleep. You don't have to teach You don't have to teach a bamboo stick how to walk. It just grows. From the seed, as long as it gets some water, it's good. You know what I'm saying? And in proper dirt and light. You don't have to teach a fucking. You don't have to teach a dog how to eat. You don't have to teach, these animals how, but a human, we gotta, you can't just let a baby go out there in the world and figure it out. That motherfucker gonna be dead in 2 days. You know what I'm saying? Like, now on the back end, we do grow, a bit. We grow to have mental capabilities above them, but in the end, I think we're all still part of nature. You know what I'm saying? We're not. I don't think by any means we're above it in no scenario. And the other topic I want to touch on is I think and I think humans just I think we severely overestimate our worth from our perspective in society. So this is the other part that I think we do, right? So the argument on like atomic bombs and nuclear bombs, and we're going to eventually kill the planet because of the ozone and all this. Okay, I think that's a very short-term way of thinking. I think that's a very pretentious way of thinking from humans, because let's say, so in this theory, let's say tomorrow we set off 10,000 nuclear bombs and destroy the whole fucking planet, right? Yes, we did it, right? But on the bigger scale of things, since we were human, that was all part of the plan for this earth. You see what I'm saying? We're not, as humans, we're doing nothing that we shouldn't be doing. And I think a lot of people get the order completely confused because it's that self-worth in humanity. If we were to destroy the planet, which I'm not saying we aren't, we probably very well are. I don't think it's anywhere out the ordinary. This is exactly, okay, if we were on Earth, this is what we were supposed to do. As humans, we're doing exactly what we were supposed to do. So we're doing as humans on Earth, since in this balance of nature, we're doing exactly what we should have been doing the whole time. There's us trying to recycle and all this shit like that. I mean, whatever. But at the core, we're doing no more or no less than what we should be doing, no more than a lion hunting a hyena. But I think it's that pretentiousness in humanity to think that we're somehow above the animals. You see what I'm saying? Like that we're like, or we're above plants, or we're above trees. I think it's that pretentiousness within humans to become that. And my theory on that is typically whenever, and this is just a human thing. This is my theory on humanity. Whenever humans historically make it out of a situation where they should not have made it out of, meaning like like the chips were against them because they were alienated, they were far away from other countries, they were starving, they were extremely poor, whatever. Every time throughout history where humans made it out of that successfully, once they make it out, they look down on anybody who's lesser than them for that desperate need of human survival to continue in life. Europe did that shit to Africa. Japan did that shit to China. And I can't remember the countries now. And America does that generally to the world, right? We grew out of a scenario where we should not have made it out of. And we make it, and that triggers this superiority complex, right? But I think all of humanity suffered that shit like 10,000 years ago. All of humanity suffered that shit because we really shouldn't have survived that shit, right? So I think with that dynamic of that, with that superiority complex, comes in that, okay, we're in control of this planet. We're not in control of this planet. We're not in control of this shit. The planet is in control of us, but we're not in control of it. I mean, we can do little things here or there to alter some shit. We can, like create rain when we want it and all this shit like that. But ultimately, we're not in control of any of this shit. You know what I mean? No, there is not one human pushing this earth around the sun. All right? There is not one human making sure that the heat stays within the planet at a comfortable rate. All right, we're not in control of this shit. Everything we're doing, all the pollution, all this shit is nothing extraordinary or nothing underwhelming. It's exactly what we should have been doing with our turn in the biological process. I think that would better sum it up. So again, I think everything that we're doing as humanity is concerned, we're doing everything that was just right along with the exact biological process of the Earth's time. And we'll have our time. We'll come and go, just like animals, just like, ice ages, just like it'll come and go. And nobody, that's worth anything is really going to care. No problem, Somni. Tell the Japanese about bamboo. That's racist. We are tribal by nature. This will never change in humans. Yeah. What's up, Green Mantis? Let me start this video.
Hoping to start from the beginning. How did this reputation come about? And do you feel like it is deserved? I do feel that it's deserved because what I've come to understand is that I have misrepresented myself for a very long time.
So were you the side chick that calls in the middle of the night so she can roll over and see the phone? Or were you the side chick that knew you was going to link up at 2 o'clock, so you just had to wait?
I was a side chick that when Gene would call him, I would go in the other room and be quiet.
Yeah, you did.
That's the
you did
worst
talk
kind,
about that.
too.
That's the MVP.
I think you said something about kissing him.
Yeah, sometimes I would like kiss him and try to distract him so he would get off the phone. And then other times I would just go in the other room and be quiet or watch TV.
So when you wanted him, was that insecurity in yourself, or did you just want him and that was it? Like, have you broken down the psychological behind being a confident side chick?
I mean, I think anytime you're a side chick, there's something that you have to address that's going on internally. So I just didn't feel good enough for first. So I just didn't really, I'm like, it's not, it's not my problem. That's not my man, and I want him. So I don't really care what it takes and what it makes me look like. At the time, I didn't realize how much it really reflected on how empty I was and how low I felt about myself.
Even though per society standards, I was someone who, low body count. No, I had not talked to any famous guy, never been around. I had a big following.
So
An ideal situation, right? Starting out in Hollywood, already labeled a whore, a liar, a gold digger. So when I think about how my origin story began, like my villain origin story, it was that. It's like, I haven't even done anything and I'm already misunderstood. So I think as time progressed, I really just tried to fake it till I could make it.
I am a gold digging, manipulative, evil, who has no real talent, who has sucked his way to the top, and is a overhyped, below average looking girl with clout, who is only relevant because of her ass.
Yeah.
Or damn.
You can't turn to a housewife.
The world you live in, the world you exist in, is pretty much foreign to most of the people who have something to say about it.
Right.
Where do you think people get that point of view? I mean, because you said the first thing is that you are a manipulative gold digger.
Yes.
All right, whose gold have you dug?
My favorite basketball team is whatever NBA player I'm fucking.
Yeah.
I love.
Yeah, and that is generally every woman's ideology on any interesting trait in her life. Which is fucked up to say, but that's the reality on it. Listen to this again.
Gold digger.
Yes.
All right, whose gold have you dug?
My favorite basketball team is whatever NBA player I'm fucking.
Yeah.
I love watching basketball. It's just way more interesting.
But see, okay. Here's the thing, man. Like, you see how easy it is for women to be that pathetic, in anything they fucking say out loud. Do you know how easy? You see how easy it is for women? Young and attractive women to be completely creepy and pathetic and get away with it because she's just an attractive woman. You see how easy, if the average woman had to live a life as a man and be sanctioned by what they say out loud and all that shit by basic society, a woman would see that as just pure oppression. It'd be pure oppression.
When there's someone on the team like that I'm linked to, but I don't really have a favorite one, just players.
And from what I understand, the book, you told stories, you used different names, but all these people are celebrities and musicians and entertainers. Gold digging, has any one of these men said you gold dig?
No. 11 athletes. Woo! 5 entertainers. Woo! 8 regular guys. Woo! I've only 3 regular guys since I've been Instagram famous. There's no supporting evidence. I think it's just public speculation. I like to call them fan theories. Very interesting. I don't make permanent decisions off of temporary emotions. I know change is constant, and I can think myself out of any situation if I have imagination.
The villain came about was I was a small town girl from Mississippi. Like to even be in certain rooms with people where it was unheard of. I never thought these guys would even know I existed. So I felt like there was still that like starry-eyed element where I didn't know what I was doing. I felt like I had been like thrown into Disney World, so to speak, right? And, like the world is at your fingertips, and again, all of these high-value men are now seeking you.
Let's skip all the way today.
Okay.
If you could do it all over again, would you choose it?
I see nothing about me, the way I am, the way I think, as shameful.
Absolutely.
Why?
Being honest, I feel.
Well, we're going to get honest either way.
I would say that there's a lot of privilege that comes with this. You get to skip the line, and once you reach a certain level of status, really the world is your oyster. As far as like I've gotten acting roles simply just off my Instagram. Really been able to do different speaking engagements. I've been able to just like not have actually have to clock in since 2013.
Yeah. And this is the benefit of being just an attractive woman who can at least, we can pretty much be sure that she at least knows how to read, right? Just just be an attractive woman who knows how to read. That's 98% of your battle in life in these years, right? And you're going to get shit handed to you for no other reason than you're just a girl. That's it. A girl who somebody can maybe fuck one day. That's it. Which, I mean, go ahead and live off of it. But, okay, when somebody tries to tell you about that reality that's going to hit you in 10 years, I mean, I would advise you listen to it.
So I would say yes, because I don't really take direction that well. I feel like I'm self-aware. And I feel like in this position, I've gotten to make more money than I would have made being a special needs caregiver. There's a privilege that we have to acknowledge for women. Well, it's easier in some areas.
Well, I mean, okay. So while you do get to skip the line, all this other kind of stuff, you also get labeled for doing things that would only make sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you relish the label or do you resent the label?
I think you have to take the good and the bad. So you can't be like, I love skipping the line, but I hate when people call me up. It's like, who cares?
Okay, so I'm just trying to understand, because there's one article that's a one-off, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can kind of recover from one article, in my opinion anyway. But there was more that happened in between. Yeah. What happened next?
Do you think women look at your body or look at you on Instagram and judge you or hate you in any type of way for that?
I'm sure they do.
But you don't care. Where do you get your confidence from? Because you're extremely confident. Like you did a video talking about sucking.
You know what? And to be real, I'm pretty happy that this is hitting. This day and age of YouTube is here. Because there's a lot of men are the ones who really need to hear this shit. There's a lot of men who had absolutely no idea that women can and will do this and live like this and treat anybody who she deems less than her like shit. Like a lot of men didn't really know it and didn't really believe it. So I'm glad that these videos, and here's the thing, since women are typically just, you know, they'll do anything for attention. They'll just sit there and say everything on, you know, anything in front of a camera and give away their whole game. I think it's a good thing that this is out there for men to learn from. I do. I think this is a good thing to see and hear it and understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like,
It's an art.
yeah, but women aren't that blunt just in public about that. Where do you get that confidence from?
I feel like over the past few years, I've gotten really comfortable just within the woman I am and who I want to be. So I do enjoy sucking. I like to talk about it. I wanted to like do, you know, the whole...
The Jill Scott.
The Jill Scott. That's classic. No, I was gonna say, do you feel like you've been self-conscious for so long where you get to a point where it's like a lash out, where like, you know, I feel like you're comfortable in your skin and what you do and what you like to do, but to put out on social media like that? Do you feel like that's where it comes from? Like, for so long I felt ashamed about something, now I just want to put it out there?
Yeah, that's kind of how I've been learning, is in polarity. So like I was saying the other day, it's like I have learned to be strong from being weak for a long time. So it's like being degraded and feeling shame for just being and enjoying things that are very natural. I just kind of found myself like owning it. So I'm just I'm not afraid of.
So Jack says you do a great job too. Hey, thanks, Jimmy. Jimmy Jack. I'm happy for platforms like TikTok and other social media. These women's takes. Yeah, man. Because here's okay. Like, okay, if I ever tried to tell a guy these things maybe 10 years ago, oh, I was just this weird animal, like, guy who just watched people like he watches animals and if 10 years ago, trying to tell anybody that these realities are logic, just wouldn't, they just wouldn't listen to you, because you, man, before this day of YouTube, there was just there was not many outlets you can get the brutal realities of women, right? And like I said a while back, where I first got it was when I listened to Amy Winehouse, the Back to Black album, and that's why I really loved that album at the time, was because that was my introduction in that women could actually feel pain. Women will just, she'll throw away one guy to go chase another guy down the street, and the first guy could have been a great dude. She don't care. She just, it's all about her emotions. I didn't get any of that reality, like that brutally real, until that Back to Black. Until I listened to Back to Black. When I really, and that's when I really got into Amy Winehouse. That was the initial start that I can think of right now. And then I was always a little more sensitive to social dynamics. I was always a little more sensitive to social interactions and dynamics without putting too much focus on it, but I was always a little more aware. But again, like, I had never actually heard a woman say anything, any real shit, especially like relatively speaking, popular, until that Amy Winehouse album came out, and the songs that she had on there. That's when it really started to go, okay, maybe I'm not crazy, because she's actually singing about how she fucked up trying to keep some dude that didn't want her, or how, okay, like another song Amy Winehouse did called "Stronger Than Me." I don't really care for the song, but the lyrics are I would recommend reading the lyrics, because I don't care for the song. "Stronger Than Me" by Amy Winehouse, and she goes, you should be stronger than me. You've been here 70 years longer than me. And she goes, "You supposed to be the man, but I'm the lady and you're my lady boy." Like, in the video, like, I don't care for the song, but the lyrics and the video explain it just completely. Every woman on Earth's dynamic with men, of what she really wants and how she's going to see that man. So again, go watch it right now. It's called "Stronger Than Me" by Amy Winehouse. She was actually talking about real dynamics and personal issues. And that's what I had. And that's what I clung to say, okay, yeah, I'm not crazy. This is what bitches are doing on Earth. This is how they really are. It's not just me just being like depressed or sad. This is what they're actually doing, type of shit. But then to jump to that next level and try to tell somebody else is like, either you want to be a pimp who hates women and beats up women and rapes women, or you're a man who worships the ground a woman walks on. And now it's that area is still there now, but I think it's slowly fading away to stop for women to just not be given shit just because they're women, and you should worship them because they have a pussy. You see what I'm saying? Like, because my girl, she told me a story earlier today how she was on a tram, and she said, I think she said she would have never noticed it before. How she was on a tram, and it was some high school kids. I may get parts of the story mixed up, but the core is still there. It was some high school kids who and it was boys and girls, and a boy had a bunch of candy, right? And he was trying, and he was supposed to give the candy out to his other classmates. And it was, boys and girls. And the boys who were like his friends, they were trying to say, "Hey, remember when I held a chair for you, or when I did something for you?" And the boy gave all the candy to the girls first. But when he asked the girls, why should I give you candy? The girl's response was, because I'm a girl. It's that conditioning, it's that entitlement that women have. And it starts very young that men are supposed to give you something just because you're a woman. And why is it that modern feminists never bring these topics up? Why is it this always happens to evade their, any conversation? Talk to a modern feminist. And why they never like talking about this side of it, that genuine entitlement. But the boys in this context, they feel like they had to remind them of when they did something for them to get candy from them. It's a really sick. The whole dynamic is, and again, to try to explain that to somebody else, unless you're going to explain it under the disguise of women deserve everything. And if you try to explain it in a way to show how ridiculous it is, you must hate women. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, and I'll dive a bit deeper on that. Let's say if I wanted to explain that to a random person. Okay, here's how men are judged. If the man is a guy who looks like he's successful in life, then he might be smart with a little grudge on his shoulder, right? But he might be smart. But if it's a guy who's clearly like, maybe he doesn't care about how he dresses or whatever the fuck, then he's going to be an immediate creep who hates women. That's how it works. And see, these are the situation. These are the situations that. Okay, at first it keeps young girls in power, but on the back end it sets them up for a bigger downfall when them youthful years are over and they're just older now. Like, because they can never go back and get that youth, and the only reason they were getting any of it is because they were young and cute. So. And this is why I always say in my videos, in my older videos, women usually have it harder, in life. In the whole scheme of things, women have it harder. Because, see, these youthful, like with her, see, this is only happening because she can still look like she's 24. Right? Once it's clear that she can never go back to being 24 again, see, that's when all that sadness and depression kicks in, and it's just this constant struggle because she's got to compete with the other young girls, but she knows she really can't. And see, that's where all this complication dynamic kicks in, right? And it sets them up for it. So when they're younger, and like her, of course, okay, like with Brittany Renner, Brittany Renner. Of course, she's going to take she's going to take everything she can get right now, and it's going to be handed to her on a silver platter because she's, she can wear the costume of a young, cute woman. But in reality, she's setting herself up for a harder fall because it's inevitable that she's going to lose at least one of the two. She's going to lose both of them eventually, but it's inevitable that she's at least going to lose one and two by the time she hits 30, which the 30, her youth, she's going to lose that. And it sets them up for a harder fall when they get. So now it's like, oh my God, now I have to learn how to think. Now I got to learn how to be a decent human. Now I got to learn how to actually be nice and get in and be somewhat intelligent now because I never had to do this before. All I got to do is just be a cute younger woman. And it sets them up for a harder ending, And it's really sad. And the thing is, like I started this live stream out. You would think by looking back in history, well, I don't want to say history, just look back to their own mama and look at her. Like, you would think that they would eventually grow on some level to be like, okay, yeah, maybe we shouldn't just take everything because we're young and cute. Maybe we should just, since we're gonna be young and cute, maybe we should just grow off in other ways and become better humans in other ways. You would think they would eventually evolve to that level with something as clear as that. with the value system that's in something as temporary as youth and beauty, you would think there would be a genuine evolution of some sorts. But there's if she's cute, don't need to evolve. She's cute.
I don't know really what people want, like what they think and what they want me to be, I guess. Just not here to do all that.
Okay, so it was just like you were linked with rapper, entertainer.
A lot of my shit was public, and I feel like that's where a lot of people are like, she's a whore, but it's like there's articles.
Okay, and real quick, I don't want to put the whole focus on her because I don't know much about her, and I really don't care to know much about her. Okay, this is just a reoccurrence in humanity. right? I don't mean to put too much focus on her because I don't care to know much about her, honestly. This is just and this is where I get bored with humanity because it's the same shit. It's always the same shit. Okay. She's happy because she can get attention. She can wear the costume of a woman and get away in life by dealing with people who she knows wants to fuck her. It's the same shit. So when I'm talking about this, I'm not talking about just her because I don't know much about her and I don't care to know much about her. Okay, this is what my analysis, the reason for my channel has never been for anybody to focus on one woman for too long, right? Because if you ever notice, I would never put other women's name in the title anywhere. Very rarely put titles up that would infer I'm talking about, one woman. I very rarely put sources, the links in it because I don't want you to focus on one woman. My goal is I want you to see women. You see, and the common reoccurrences, the common habits that women have. Because she's just another fish in the pond. 5 years from now, you won't even remember her. Right? Just like when you jacking off the porn. When you jack off the porn, see, here's the thing. When you jack off the porn, treat her like how you treat jacking off the porn. When you go in through Pornhub, all right, you will click off one woman and just go flip right to the next. Right? You not getting ready to read Skin Diamond's whole biography and wonder where she born and all this shit. You didn't care nothing about that. Because you wanted the general overview of woman fucking. Right? That's my goal, is to get you programmed with women in the world. Because she's just another hussy. All right? By definition. And that's not even to make fun of her. She's just another hussy. She'll come and go, and she'll never. And okay, two things for certain. One, she'll come and go. Two, she will never attain the level of youth and beauty that she's had up to now. Well, I don't know how old she is now, but she will never go back and attain it. Those are two things that are certain. And the third thing that's certain is the only reason she was getting attention is because of the youth and beauty. You see, so this is why paying attention to any one woman is not very is not a very lucrative way of it's not a very fruitful way of studying women, is to pay attention to one woman. What's more fruitful is to pay attention to women, right?
Where someone took a picture of me at the movie theater with a guy. Mm-hmm. That's out of my control.
Because I'm so vocal. And just because it's like, it's hot under these lights, So it's like, I think dating has probably been the hardest thing for me. A lot of my friends, we just don't have the same problems, it seems like. You almost have to keep it going. Because if I'm Brittany Renner, and I've been doing this for almost 10 years now, and let's say I fall off and now I'm working at Target, it's not that that's a failure, but there would be ridicule that comes behind that.
There was one time where I thought I was, being Billy Badass, and I guys in a week had a mean yeast infection. That's not funny. But it wasn't funny, but looking back at it, I could laugh now.
My end goal would be to utilize my youth, my beauty, this position, to create opportunities in the now for the long term. So podcasting, hair company, skincare.
Brittany bought me a Chanel purse.
Are you serious?
She's a sugar mama.
Wow.
Happy birthday to you. She got me for my birthday. Oh my god. This was funny.
I just didn't want her to be impressed by what any man could do for her. And she obviously could do that herself, but for me, I just felt like it was more of a sentiment, like, you don't need a guy to get stuff like this.
So yeah, I think my biggest...
No, and you know what? And I don't believe her. No, she's okay. Because you know who came to mind? Victoria Beckham. That's who came to mind. Well, now Victoria Beckham worked that shit where she didn't have to walk out there and be known to be a hussy, and she was a fucking Spice Girl. You know what I mean, even though she gonna, it's no secret. She gonna, she was a Spice Girl, so she's gonna get that money she's gonna get them residuals in some form from that Spice Girl shit. But also she got with that footballer. You know what I mean, and she sat the fuck down and shut the fuck up. Whereas, see, this hussy ain't sitting down and shutting the fuck up. She out there hussying and having fun. I mean, again, I hope that she has a fruitful career. I really do. See, when I talk about hussies, I don't mean, okay, if they're starting to talk shit, then I'll start to break them down like on that level. But overall, I don't wish anybody any harm. Like, I hope she has a great fucking life. I really do. Right? I genuinely hope that she does grow off and has a great, whoever. I don't know anything about her. No, I know nothing about this woman. But I mean, I don't wish any ill harm on anybody. But at this rate, man, from the little bit that I know about her and how she's just talking now, there's absolutely nothing about how she, unless she gets real lucky and she ends up getting with like a Jay-Z type of dude and finally, but even then, from what I'm gathering, how she's talking in front of a camera, see, this is Lana Rhoades shit. But she this is a Negroid woman, so she ain't gonna even get anywhere near as high as Lana Rhoades can get. But this is Lana Rhoades shit, where it's open in video interviews and porn, and she'd have been fucking and sucking all types of dudes. Yeah, that's Lana Rhoades might, because Lana Rhoades fits that demographic where, and when it comes to this racial shit and shit, Lana Rhoades, she has a better chance than was I was gonna call her Billy Renner. What's her name? Brittany Renner. She got a better chance than Brittany Renner. But at this rate, how she's talking and carrying herself and all and doing this social media shit, this is nothing but her just hussing it up and having fun. At this point, there is nothing in here saying that she's trying to change an image, to try to last, to try to do anything legitimately professional. There is absolutely nothing about this woman that says that. Everything, even sitting here on the couch with her arms getting fatter and that wig on, there is nothing about her that says, there is nothing about this woman that makes me go, you know what? I need to be quiet and listen to this woman and take her serious. Absolutely nothing. And I can tell you from my perspective, I'm going to go at least at minimum, I'm going to either be a teacher at a university or tutor at a university at absolute minimum. And that's just to put my son into the school so he has access to the faculty school. I'll go out there and do that. You see what I'm saying? But no, this woman, no. There's very little. She'll keep selling you that dream and mystical smoke. Yeah, I'll do it one day, and hope you just kind of fall for it. You know what I mean? Because she's cute and you won't ask her any questions. But look, you can't fool a grown ass. You're not gonna fool a grown ass man. A mentally grown ass, aware and capable man. You're not gonna fool a grown man. There's nothing in this one. Absolutely nothing. Right? Absolutely nothing. Again, I mean, I hope that she does. I hope that she doesn't have to go work at Target. I don't want her to be, to take that fall from her position. But as far as image goes and moving and walking and talking, nothing about her that says it. There is nothing about it. Hey, D, my friend went to this party last week and he told me that no girl was looking at him until the host of the party shouted him out. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Randy. Yeah, he got that recognition. Women don't care about you until here's like I say before, man. Women do not care about you until you become. Period. Women just simply do not care about you. You don't exist to a woman until you become. And I've been wanting to do a skit where I've been wanting to do a skit where a guy gets like bitch goggles, right? So he can see the world through bitch's eyes. So first he sees all these people, men and women, and then he puts on bitch goggles to see what bitches see, and every man who doesn't fit a certain criteria just disappears and he just doesn't exist. And even when it comes to where she's gonna shop and eat and shit like that, I wanted to break down a different demographics of women who would do that. But I'm just too lazy and I got too much shit going on now, honestly. But I thought that'd be funny. But yeah, back to this. She can trick a woman like this to go out there and trick these, she can trick these uneducated men, these men who are relatively seen as lesser by society, and they secretly looking forward to just looking at her. She can run this smoke and mirrors on those guys. But any man who's about anything with his life that had any genuine intelligence backing it up will smell her from 15 miles away. And probably fuck her cheeks, probably clap her cheeks. Something like that, because she's not a bad looking woman, but they know what she is.
end goal is one of my bigger end goals is to have my own podcast. Because when I was pregnant, I used to watch your lives. You would pose so many questions that I did not have the answer to. I'm 29. And when I would listen to you, and people would get triggered, but I'm like, when you really sit down and you take away tone, you take away whatever people think about you, it's actually very helpful if you're willing to listen, but a lot of people don't listen.
So, do you relish being the rebel?
I love it here.
When you're 60, what do you want your life to look like?
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's what women need. And I'm glad he brought that up. I'm glad when you're 60, what do you want your life to look like? And these are the questions that mothers need to put in their little girls, right? These are the questions that mothers need to teach their little girls how to age gracefully. And this is the part that women hate, dude. There is not one woman on earth that likes this idea. There is not one, because once they accept this, they have to accept that they've aged. So aging gracefully means that they just can't do whatever they want anymore. If they can't do whatever they want anymore, that must mean they must have degraded. There is not one woman on earth that likes to even think about that shit. And you won't find one, because all their value was in being young and pretty and fucking. And knowing that some guy wants to fuck them, so they'll come bring them food or drive them somewhere or pay their rent or whatever the fuck. You see, aging gracefully is a fucking thing, dude. And men have a hard time with it too. There's a lot of guys who have a hard time with it too. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of guys who have issues with with that, where whether it be like a guy's issue. Well, it's a similar issue, but overall, I think guys have it easier to officially pull it off in the overall sense, because for a man to age gracefully, he either has to step up his dressing game or step up his being interesting game. Like, what is he interested in? Where are his hobbies? What skills and talents does he have? And employ those. One of those two can get him over. He can dress like shit, but if he's like, has an interesting past or something to really talk about, something to entertain with, he can make it up with that. Whereas women have so much more to work out of with the aging gracefully phase, because since they're not 22 anymore, they can't dress like they're 22 anymore. But then the hard part is they don't really know how to dress, as an older woman without looking too old, but not looking too sexy. And it's like this horrible balance that comes in. And like I'm saying, it's not just anyone, like every woman. I'm sure my mother had this problem. I'm sure all the women in my family went through this. If I call my aunt up right now, I would guarantee you she would agree with me. I would guarantee you. I have a great female friend of mine. The one I used to work with at the VA. We talk very bluntly about it. These are difficult. These times over 30, 35 are very difficult times for women. Very difficult times. Because that aging, it's the aging gracefully. Because it was always okay. It was always all fun and games as long as the woman could have left the man whenever she felt like it, right? It was always fun and games and dating then. Didn't really care, Man didn't even exist. But once it comes time where, for her to get left, see, that's when all this. See, and Brittany Renner, she's coming into that age where it's time for her to start getting, like that video I made on Snow Bunny stuff. See, that's when all the issues started coming in, when she started being the one that could get left for a younger woman and all that. See, that's when now it says, oh, like now she's a human and I should care about her. That's when all this starts to come in, Because she's Brittany Renner. She says she's 29 here. She's hitting that age where it's starting to happen. She's not going to be the one doing the leaving. She's going to be the one that's getting left, and that's a huge power dynamic shift. Huge power dynamic. Hey, do you remember during 2020 November, I got laid on a Monday, and a few days later, I ended up hooking up with a 7 out of 10. It ended because I was still new to the red pill. Oh, Bruno, man, yeah, well, yeah, but you'll be all right, man. You'll fix it. Don't worry about it. You just one step at a time, man. One step at a time. Women don't see us as human until you have a whole lot of money and resources. Sad but true. 80s quote, women are to be bought has never been any. Oh yeah. Thanks, Simon Lewis. But yeah. To be woman is to be prostitute. There's just no way around it. There's literally no way. I mean, it's brutal to say it, and I'm sure it hurts some people. But there's no way around. To be woman is to be prostitute, because a woman does not want to fuck a guy who she thinks is lesser than her, or at least cannot temporarily buy her pussy temporarily, right? It just doesn't work. You know what I mean? It's brutal to say it, but there's nowhere. Just like I said, if you want if you want luxury, then you want slave labor. There's no way around it. Like when you break it down, there's literally no way around that explanation. You can't. You can't. I mean, you could try to mask it like Brittany, but like Brittany Renner's doing. You could try to mask it, to hope a person just talk themselves into believing some shit. But there's no way around it. Like Brittany Renner, she trying to start her own business off of this when it all finished. Yeah, right. She trying to. She is in panic right about now. She's got that baby and she's hitting 30. She is in panic mode to find a man to take care of her as a retirement plan right now. That is exactly where she is right now. It's just the reality of biology. You know what I mean? That's just the reality of female biology. She need a protector. It's only so long she can still get high off getting attention off Tinder. She need a protector. And she'll sell being pretty if she can get a protector. That's just the reality of it, dude. Javi says, the patriarchy used to make women be aware of those things and make them grow as humans. Women did everything in their power to drop these standards for them. Yeah, just shows women don't naturally grow. Yeah. Because the patriarchy is essentially made sure that women would not have to go out there and suffer and struggle to find a man. And it essentially made it to where to pretty okay. Okay, off the top of my head right now, which I could be wrong, but off the top of my head right now, see, these society roles as man and woman did not come along because men just hated women. All right, men knew what women were really wanting to do, and said, okay, look, we just not gonna let you do this because you don't want to do this. Right? Then dingbat bitches took it as, oh, well, you just don't want to have it, and then went out there and got all this freedom. Now they run around looking for a man to take care of them. It's pathetic shit. Because they don't grow. Humanity doesn't grow, but also, yeah, in this context, women don't grow too. But yeah, back to Brittany Renner. She's not looking to start any business, dude. Don't even fall for that lie. Don't fall for that smoke and mirrors bullshit. This bitch is not looking to start any independent business. She is looking for a man to start a business and then let her get a little bit of control. That way she could walk around and say, I got my own business now. But she is not looking for her own business. Don't fall for that for 1 second. Was there any part of her life from that has any way in shape or form led to any success shown that she independently was going to start anything of fucking value? right? Was there anything of her life that showed she was going to have any independent value that did not revolve around some man leading it overall? Was there anything about it? Was there anything about any woman who is not like, and to prove my point again, which is rough to admit, but I dare a feminist fight me on this. I would dare a feminist fight me on it. If your car broke down right now as a feminist, would you rather go call Sarah and Jenny's auto service, or would you rather go call Tony and Dutch's mechanic shop? Even the most hardcore feminists gonna stay away from bitches to fix their own shit, because bitches know bitches don't fix shit. Bitches break shit, but they don't fix anything. And I dare the most hardcore feminists argue me on that. I would love to hear that argument. I would love to see. I should make a show called Punked, where I take a feminist to an auto mechanic shop, and it's just all pretty bitches walking around there, and just watch that feminist face reaction when she look around and see all pretty bitches wearing Daisy Dukes and high heels with a few oil marks on their face coming to fix cars, and she be like, I would love to see somebody shooting fireworks. I would love to see it, dude. I would love to see it. Because what I say is brutal, but what I say is mean and what I say is brutal, but you cannot deny what I'm saying is a fact, right? You can't do it. Whenever a woman says she has her own business, I immediately think OnlyFans. Okay, yeah. Now, August line, yeah. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be some sex selling shit, right? But now there are, okay. In my history, if the woman does not at least have a master's degree, or she isn't just like this really weird type of hairdresser that just owns her own hairdresser, women don't like to run shit on their own. You will find some decent ones but usually they don't make it to that level of thought until they get to my realm, like a master's type of shit. They usually don't get to that realm of thinking until they're, that high up. But most don't do it. No, most because they don't want to run shit. Shooting a lot of fireworks outside.
60.
Yeah, hang on. I got some soup. It's some cauliflower soup. I would show you, but I don't want to spill it on the laptop. It's hot. I ain't where to put it. Okay. Let's get back to this video.
What do you want your life to look like?
That's a great question.
Don't let your baby mama or your baby daddy block your blessings. I know in theory it sounds good keeping the same person to have kids with, but that's insanity as well. So if it doesn't work out with them, it'll work out with someone else. Okay? It just will. That's how that goes. And trust me, I know it's ghetto. It is so ghetto being a baby mama, and thinking about multiple baby daddies is scary. But, me and my baby gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. So we're moving forward, onward, upward. Okay.
I've had to ask myself, like, what am I willing to pay to be in my truth and to be the rebel? I think right now, it is kind of like a burning at the stake. Like, it is, that's how I feel. I feel like because I tell my truth, I speak how I feel, that I have been crucified. I'm a very easy target.
Are you into the idea that, like, you can't just first and then start dating? Like, do you hold off if you want to be serious with someone, or do you just, you want to?
I'm having sex.
All right, cool. I'm glad you're not like old school or anything.
No. I feel like that mentality, like, oh, if I just hold out, he'll really see my value. No, you won't.
To me, family is everything. I was raised with my grandparents. So for me, they did the best they could with the awareness they had. But my mom and dad, they never married. And my mom isn't married now. My dad is. And it's just like, for me, it's just always been a dream to have that in-household unit. And I just feel like, due to recent events, now it's like, yeah, it is stepdaddy season. And that wasn't my choice, even though it was my choice. There were things that transpired where I just felt like, okay, I'm going to have to choose me. But yeah, I want a family, but it is going to take, honestly, at this point, I don't know who would want to sign up to be with me. And that's just being all the way transparent. I don't know.
So you see any similarities?
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Let's listen to that last part again. Because like I said before, I say all the time, women are always every woman is always aware of the balance of transaction between her pussy and the quality of man that she's gonna get with, right? So from her perspective, she knows that a certain quality of dude with a certain mental awareness is just not gonna touch her, right? With the position that she ended up with this.
I'm gonna have to choose me. But yeah, I want a family, but it is going to take, honestly, at this point, I don't know who would want to sign up to be with me. And that's just being all the way transparent.
Yeah. And that's what I said before, like a long time ago too. Like, dude, like, never get with a woman who has a small child. I got my ex-wife when she had a small child. But I've always shared the reasons why I even did that in the first place. But she had a small child. And And to be honest with you, I knew before that to never do that, but because honestly, I've always had this sense that the mother always, because I used to watch my brother with women, right? And he used to educate me on it. But to be honest, like where my brother's issue is with women is that he low key expects women to take care of him, right? Whereas I'm more independent. I don't expect a woman to take care of me. But and that's ultimately his weakness when it comes to women is to expect them to really expect women to just take care of him. But he would show me the games and the realities that women really know and what they're really doing. Like they're not stupid. They're stupid. They're stupid because their emotions. Okay, their emotions and need. Woman is stupid because her emotions and need for comfort ultimately just handicaps her entire. Dude, let me tell you something. Women have all the tools to completely run the world, right? They have it. If it wasn't for the need of comfort and validation, women have read any book on war and how to wage shit and how to keep spirits up and what to do. Women naturally have all that shit, dude. But it's their need for validation and comfort is what ultimately just always makes them second place. They have it. They have it, dude. They have it. See, Jukebox saw this lady on a date last night. The dude was walking ahead. She stopped and told me she was too cool to be out with just him and was being a good sport. And I just felt for a dude all clueless and smiling. Oh, yeah. That's rough. Yo, what's up, Anthony?
Don't know.
So you see any similarities in you and your mother?
No. And okay. I think too, when you hate something, it is natural that you become it. So I think you have to dissolve, and then it just kind of becomes one thing and you're more balanced. So no, my mom and I were both very silly and like outgoing and crazy, but as far as being a parent, I couldn't see how I could be like either one of them.
I experienced the worst people to deal with are the athletes. None of them use condoms, really. So if y'all really want to try to come up off a check off a man, I mean, you could just athlete. They're really dumb.
But that's not what everyone else sees. That's not for me to sit here and try to convince people that like what it was. But I think just living out loud, like you said, it comes at a cost. Whether you're talking about your experiences in a book, I
miss my son. Jesus.
Comes at a cost. Whether you're talking about your experiences in a book, whether your relationship is public, there is a cost.
My light is so bright that it causes all of the roaches to scatter in places they thought they could hide. It's just me being me. It just causes such an uproar. Like, loving yourself is such a rebellious act these days, you know? But I'm here to tell you, I am so not sorry.
Yeah, you will be in about 5 to 10 years. Well, no, because guess what? There's another Brittany Renner coming out of high school. What's this month? December? There'll be a whole nother batch of Brittany Renners coming out in about 7 more months. And then guess what? There's going to be a whole nother batch coming out 12 months after that. Then guess what? There's going to be a whole nother batch of Brittany Renners coming out 12 months after that. Meanwhile, you keep getting older, man, more mad, more bitter, because baby daddy don't want you. Baby daddy left, and everybody gonna slowly move on to Brittany Renner number 4, Brittany Renner number 5. It's the rotation of hussies, dude. That's good soup. It's cauliflower soup. But yeah, man. So again, my YouTube channel was not meant to bash any one woman. My YouTube channel is to spread an awareness on woman's nature and the realities. Like when I made those videos a while, okay, because the reason I stopped making those other videos, Because people was asking me to do more of those where it was just beautiful bitches and I would just talk to tell you like the reality of what their existence was. And YouTube flagged my videos as sexual explicit when I took the videos from YouTube. But here's the thing, man, because I say it all the time before. And I said it. What's up, Random Mortal? I said it before, man. See, women are not in control. Women are in control of nothing. They don't want to be in control of anything. Woman does not know what is cute. Woman does not know what's attractive. Woman does not know what is sexy. She doesn't know. If you were to take a woman, right? If you were to take a group of like 5 women and just lock them away on an island together, they wouldn't know what sexy is. They wouldn't know how to be sexy or hot. You know, they wouldn't know. Outside of just the biological entitlement of just being, you know, woman. They don't know. They're taking their cues from whatever they think men might like and then trying that. Right? They don't know. Right? It's almost like the same thing. I'd say, well, this is probably a little worse. I would say it almost be like taking a group of 5 people and throw them alone on an island and watch how many heroin addicts you get. Well, they never been around heroin, so they don't know, you know, they don't even know how to be addicted to heroin because they ain't never been around it. You know, you see what I'm saying? Like, well, I mean, there's our like little caveats to that, but you see what I'm trying to say? Like, women, woman is not in, because she doesn't know what beautiful is. All right. This woman, she doesn't know what beautiful is. She doesn't really know. She just kind of figures what it is because she can kind of piece it together from, you know, from Instagram and social media and women's magazines and YouTube. And, you know, she can kind of start piecing it together like what guys are going to like because they're getting likes on Insta, because other women are getting likes. But women women are not leading, you know, anything of value. In typical everyday woman, what woman does? She sits around and she waits for men to say what they want, and then women go out and try to become that. And I think a lot of men have the order completely wrong, as if women know what's sexy and attractive. When a woman is attractive, she really had very little input on being attractive. This is just biology running its course. Okay, she doesn't know. She's just there, and biology just ran its course right now on her, right? And then she just kind of figures like, oh, like I'm cute, whatever, and now I can get away with all this shit. And then she starts to actually feel like she actually, you know, contributed to her newfound sense of value in the dating market. No, it's her biological, you know, it's her biological time. It's no more special than a ripe banana. Okay, it's no more special than a ripe apple. It's proper time right now, and then when it's done, that banana will never be ripe like it was before. That apple will never get back to that. You can fill it up with all types of whatever, steroids, whatever the fuck, and it's never going to be truly like it was when it was perfectly ripe. It's never going to get there again. But the difference is when women hit that mode, they get mad, they get angry, they get depressed. Their moods are swinging much more because they can't control it, because they're really mad about that, but they don't want to look like they mad about it, so they pretend they mad about something else. That ain't mad about that now. And now you will get mad because she got mad at you, and then that gives her something to vent it out. And see, like I said a long time ago on videos, so you ever wonder why? Okay. Everybody has always seen that 45-year-old woman in like TJ Maxx or something like that throw a tangent for no fucking reason. That's why. Because she's trying. That's why. When they get older like that, those random tangents, those random arguments, the random fights from older women, that's where those random fights are coming from. Because she's mad because she'll never be that ripe apple again. What's up, Eddie? Changed my username from Dan. Yo, okay. What's up, Big Johnson? What's up, man? Yeah, I remember Dan. I remember you, Danny D. Zendaya is the new Angelina Jolie. All right, looking chick that women announce. Yeah, Javi. Yeah, like she's all right. She's a cute little girl. I'll tell you what, man. Yeah. I don't know much about her at all, but I have noticed that in society, how, or just like the brief times I do go get on social media, I've noticed that how she's almost being like glorified. This is Angelina Jolie, like Patrice O'Neal said, they're like, she's a fine ass, all right looking bitch. Like she's not like, you know what I mean? Patrice O'Neal said Angelina Jolie is a fine ass, all right looking bitch. Like in my opinion, Angelina Jolie looked the best when she was. I think Angelina Jolie looked the best when she was in the first Tomb Raider, when she was a little thicker. All that, you know, looking like half dead shit. All that with her cheekbones. That's that woman, because a woman doesn't know what beautiful is, right? So they have their own. So here's the weird part about this, right? And men and women do this. Let me take another bite of this soup. This soup is good. It's cauliflower soup. She just made this. That's good. So here's the thing. Men and women do this, in my opinion. Well, no, they're not. It's just reality. Men and women do this, right? Both sides try to assume what the other side likes by trying to just completely incorrectly adopt their mentality. And it usually fails horribly, right? So with women have been able to deduce that men like a certain shaped head and certain cheekbones and all this. So women will go to extra lengths to pervert those measurements, right? They'll go to extra lengths to completely pervert them, meaning, you know, with the ass injections, either go that route of being super voluptuous, or they'll go the other route of being like insanely skinny to completely pervert it to be the baddest bitch, right? They'll complete, and it really is a sad situation of how that plays out, of how we, and men do it too. Don't get me wrong, men do it too. So in the reality, all they end up doing is just attracting the same sex. A lot of times, especially like, okay, when they hit that path of like that Euro Angelina Jolie shit, of just trying to be extremely skinny, and that ought to be the cure all to being attractive type of shit. In reality, all they really end up attracting is just other women who think that that's what men want. And it's the same thing with men when they go out there and try to like work out and all that shit to get like super big and all that because they think it's going to attract women. And in reality, all they end up doing is just attracting other men type of shit. I mean, I'm not against working out. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I've always had the whole 6-pack and all that shit too. Maybe not now. Let me check. No, because I've been doing some sit-ups. You can see a little bit of a 6-pack. You can see a little bit of a 6-pack. Yeah. But I'm not against working out, but I always say don't work out because you think women gonna like you. That's just pathetic. Go work out because you want to do it, because it's gonna clear your mind or something. Don't do it for them. And it's the same thing with bitches, but bitches can't help it though. They want to lose weight because they want a man to like them. That's rough. Tomb Raider Angelina, when she started to look dried out. Is that the movie I'm thinking? Because I'm pretty sure it was the first Tomb Raider. Maybe I'm tripping. But she wore like almost like a turtleneck thing. That's when she had bigger tits in the first. I think I want to say it was the first Tomb Raider. But she did another movie that I watched where she was a drug addict. I think she was like a popular singer or something like that. And she ended up hooked on drugs. I watched that a long time ago. I can't remember the name of it. But she was real skinny in that one. Now, I thought she bulked up for the first Tomb Raider. I'm pretty sure it was a Tomb Raider where she was, because that was the only time I thought she was attractive. And I never thought she was anything attractive ever, before or after that. I mean, she was like Patrice O'Neal said. She was a good looking, all right woman. You know what I mean? Like, she was all right. But Zendaya, yeah. Is that how you say it? Zendaya or whatever the fuck? Yeah, she's the new Rihanna. Women just agreed that she's beautiful, so they just gonna blindly follow her type of shit now. Like they don't really, because they don't really know what's attractive. But women, it's just historical, man. Women are gonna follow whatever they think other people are following. So Girl Interrupted. Was that the name of it? Or she played a drug addict? Let me check real fast. Because it was an old movie. Like, she was young. Not like a little kid, but I watched that a long, long time ago. Maybe 1999, maybe this is it. Because she ended up injecting. I think, I think this is it. Yeah. Because she ended up she was injected herself. And I think she ended up getting HIV or something like that. In the movie. Yeah. Because this had Brittany Murphy and why not? Yeah. This was it. I can't remember much about it, but Hackers is prime Angelina. I've never seen Hackers, K. Smith. I don't know. Why are the news free and school has to be paid for? I don't know. That's a good question. Well, news is an easy, news is an easy. That's what when I got real into Mussolini, man. That's when I got into news and shit. Because I thought that was pretty impressive how he did that. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was fucked up, but it was impressive his take on it of how to manipulate and how people just follow news. News is a great way to manipulate. I would say news. It's a toss up between news and religion, but I think since time moves by so much, I think news is now probably the stronger one. Because if right now, if news stations just start putting right now on TV that if you got red bumps on your left hand, you're gonna die in 2 days, and every news station just put it on there, everybody would just take it for exact value. And if anybody had a blue dot on their hand, a red dot in their hand, they thought they would be certain they would be dead in 2 days. So I think news is a great manipulator of mentality and emotions. Because if you ever notice, right? If you ever notice in North America, and now I'm going to start bashing North America a little bit. Why many North Americans don't travel? Why, you ever think, for those Americans who may be watching, have you ever noticed why North Americans don't travel? And it's a real coincidence, all this shit, right? Why is it that North America very rarely, if ever, puts on advertisements in any way to leave North America? I mean, and to reinforce it in any way. They don't do it. And if you do get most news from outside, it's going to be all the fearful news. Somebody was killed, somebody got their arm cut off, they got they OD'd on drugs in another country. It's always this fearing. It's never you should go here to just better, just to get a different perspective of the world. They never promote that shit. Now over here, you'll see ads all the time. Yeah, take a train to Berlin. But in America, they don't do that. Nowhere near like they do over here. Because my opinion is, North America is really focused on domestic slavery. Between the prison systems, people just don't travel. The healthcare system and the education system, all those are just literally record numbers and being fucked up. I mean, that's not a coincidence. You need that slave labor. I want to live in Russia. I honestly don't even care. I mean, I wouldn't mind going to see it, but I'm not indifferent to it. Because the Russian people, they don't represent the military. As far as Russia being just Russia, I'm not against it. I'd go as long as I knew they let me leave. I'll end up in there like Brittany Renner. Oh no, Brittany Grinder. What's her name? Brittany Grinder. Was it a basketball player name? As long as I end up like her, I don't got a problem with going. Proximity. Those places have historical interactions going back centuries. Well, yeah, that's true too, K. Smith. Yeah, but to also be fair, what's also a difference over here in North America is that Okay, in North America, these places would be scams. Whereas over here, like when I seen it with my girl, I was like, yo, that in America, that place would be a scam. They have all these travel agencies over here. And everybody who I ever spoke to said that, no, those are the best deals you're going to find in Europe, where you can fly out Tunisia is a good spot right now, which I still got to look into the history of what happened in that war. But flying to Egypt, that's another big thing. I'm trying to think of other ones. A lot of checks end up going to India, different parts of India, because supposedly they can go there and live, in certain areas for it's almost like how a lot of Americans go to Bali. They can go there and live on a lot for, very little money. But America does not promote leaving. We are slaves like you. Case Smith says, if I go from Detroit to Florida, that's like going to 3 countries. Yeah. Well, yeah, Europe, yeah. That'd be like going to 3-4 countries driving that far. So I'm from Ohio, so I know what you're talking about. I'm beneath you. And then, there's good and bad about Europe and America, man. I'm not gonna act like Europe is all fucking great, because Europe definitely gets on my fucking nerves sometimes. But America's not all. Here's the thing, man. If I could take one thing, I'd say 2 things. But one major thing, if I could do it, I would take the walking culture back with me to America, because in America everybody just drives. People don't walk. Whereas over here, people, there's decent amount of areas where even in villages, many villages, I'm not going to say all villages, but many villages, cities and towns, it's not uncommon to see somebody just walking down the street, right? Whereas in America, literally, I'll show y'all where I lived in America. And I'll show you how pathetic it was in America, where I lived, and the walking culture. See, what was it? Which is not called this anymore, but let's see if we can find it. Here. I'll show you just how pathetic it was. Wait, is this it? Because I don't even remember where I used to live now. I'm trying to... Yeah. No. What is this? Okay, yeah, here it is. It took me to the wrong. So I'll show you just how bad it was to drive. I like how the walking culture was in North America, right? Quick, you guys see this? Yeah, you can see this. So where am I? Okay. So you see the buildings on the left? Let me see if I can zoom in on that so you can see it a little better. So you see these buildings over here, right here? So I used to live in those, right? That's where my flat was in Ohio. Now, literally across the street is a Shell gas station, right? You see, it's literally, I just panned it. It's literally across the street. Motherfuckers don't walk even to there. They would get in their car and drive to go over there. So I'd be drinking beer or, need condoms, whatever the fuck. And I would get out and I would go walk across the street. And I felt so weird and so awkward to just walk literally from, I lived a little, it's still in this same area, but to walk from there, to walk down to the crosswalk to where the cars are stopped and walk across the street to there. In America, that is people don't, most of America just doesn't walk unless you're hooked on drugs or you're a street walking hooker or something like that. Most Americans just don't walk. And that's one thing I would take back to America if I could. That's a big thing for me now that I've noticed it living over here. And then when I go back to America, I just fall in deep depression, dude. Because you're just stuck in it. Because it's that culture to just stay stuck in the house. You're always separated. Then when you do drive, where you're separated in the car until you drive where you're trying to go. And then when you get out the car, you're that much more awkward because you've been alone all this time. And so it makes social interactions just so much more awkward. And I think that's why America is so lonely. Americans in general are so lonely. This is the thing, because with our baby stroller, we definitely got our money's worth out of that baby stroller. With as much walking and travel we do with it, like throughout the city, with just killing time with him, we've got our money's worth. Because in America, it would have been a waste of money doing that. And now, and that's making sense of why you can find strollers for so much cheaper in America, is because you ain't putting miles on a stroller in America. Definitely not one day. With that stroller, okay, when it was summertime, I was easily doing about 13 kilometers. That ended up being about 7 miles, something like that. When it was summertime, and you could just like walk around like freely and sit down at the park and whatever the fuck, or just walk around the park with him in the stroller. I was doing a good 7 miles a day because I had it logged in my Apple the tracker thing. But in America, you'd be lucky to put 7 miles on a stroller in a week. In America, you'd be lucky. You'd have to like try for that. And in majority of America, you'd have to try. Let me read these comments. European roads developed with the horse. They were already pedestrian friendly. America was massive, and you didn't need roads connecting everywhere. Well, yeah, and then in America, which I'm not sure if this is a complete rumor, but it makes sense. In America, I think it was who was it? Was it Henry Ford? One of the motherfuckers. They went to every city and shut down the public transportation to make people buy cars. Which I'm not 100% sure if that's completely correct, but that's what I've kind of like skimmed through, like read in passing. So I don't take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, and also, motherfuckers don't like to hear this. They got real cloudy outside real quick. Motherfuckers don't like to hear this, but America learned a lot from Europe's mistakes and a lot of the rest of the world because America's just so new. They learned a lot. So even when you look at how the roads are built on a logistical level, right? Is that the proper word to use? Let's say on a civil engineering level, how the roads are made on Google Maps and shit. Like Europe, they made their roads without planning for the future. So that's why you have so many like it'll take you literally 15 minutes to get somewhere where if you drove like as the crow flies, for example, as the crow flies, like if you were like to get up from here and just fly directly there at like 35 miles an hour, right? That just a one-way shot, it would only take you like 5 minutes to get there. But the roads in Europe, it's always this curvy shit. It ends up taking like 3 times as long to get there kind of thing. That's because Europe didn't plan for the future in building their cities. So they would kind of like build one road and leave it like that, and then just kind of make it just turn here. I mean, and there was absolutely no sense of planning for the future with the roads. Whereas America, by the time Americans, they had already, kind of seen that, experienced it, and they planned more on this kind of straight grid, which has its benefits and negatives, in itself. There's no, completely perfect method about it. But that's what, that's the issue here. Is that grid mentality. Like, for example, okay, let's just say like this grid mentality. It's going to be more straight. See all these streets, like you're going to have like this far more of a grid, like squares. You see what I'm saying? You see can y'all see this? How the streets are built up? It's going to be this it's going to be much more squarey, much more square grid-like ways to get anywhere. So it's not going to take like any, exorbitant amount of time just to get to something that's like 3 minutes away by fucking driving. Now let's go, hang on. What am I doing? Now let's go, oh, fuck it, I just go like this then. I didn't know I could do that. Oh, shit. Well, it doesn't really matter. If I just find any decent sized city, I'll just zoom in. And watch it prove me wrong, but where the fuck am I? Oh, I'm in Germany. Okay. New Mexico. So let's just go to Prague, where I'm at. See this shit? So in order to get, so a lot of these are going to be also one ways too. So in order to, you can't really see it because this really isn't like the best example. But for those of you who've been to Europe, like you can, see what I'm talking about? Because a lot of these are going to be one-way streets too. Can y'all even see all that? So this looks like a grid, but in reality, a lot of these are going to be like severe one-way streets or hills where you're not even sure if you can really drive at, kind of thing. Or to be a tram on the street where like if the tram's going to stop at every 2 stops and maybe you can't go around it at this street type of shit. So it's going to take you fucking, like, for example, for me to get to this mall called Zliчин. As the crow flies, it's literally like an 8-minute drive, but it ends up taking like 25 minutes to get there because you have to go like complete. Maybe I can show you real fast. I'll show you. So, hang on. And I live. So this is the mall. Let me see if I can pull this up. Where the fuck? Spraslav, right here. Here I am right here. So let's just, fuck it, this is. Oh, shit. Oh, no, I can do this. See this? You see that? Because I live where so you have to go like massively around. You see that? So for those of you who know how to read that, you have to go like completely around shit to get there. You can't just go like directly there. And it's just always just like this pain in the ass to get anywhere you want to go in Czech Republic. You know, in my experiences in Europe, it's always like that. Like there's no sense of, you know, like direct getting. I mean, if you get lucky, you can get that. But every time I do it, it's always like this wildly out of the ordinary, you know, out of a logical way to go there kind of thing. Beat that podcast says, yeah. Let's say taxes for nothing, war permanently. Welcome to Russia. The roads in suburban Seattle. Okay, yeah, I've never been to Seattle. And I always hear Seattle is like one of the places that is like really, I always hear that Seattle is one of the places that's really kind of on its own program in many ways. I've always heard that. I've never been to Seattle. But whenever people bring up Seattle, Seattle is always seemingly like one of those places, almost like California, where they're just like completely on their own mentality out there from the rest of the country. Levon, what's up, Levon? It's sad. I ride past the basketball courts and they are empty. Back when I was growing up, the court. Oh yeah, you were packed. Oh yeah, Levon. Yeah, I'll be 37 next year. Yeah. When I was younger. Oh man, you couldn't. You had to sit around and wait to get on the court, and it'd be 2 motherfuckers. It'd be 2-3 whole groups of motherfuckers waiting. They'd be like, wait in line, take a ticket. AD, random question: who are your favorite rappers growing up? Okay, growing up in the early years, I didn't like any music from the 90s. I liked literally very, very little music from the 90s. The only musician I liked in the 90s was Michael Jackson and the Temptations. Maybe a song here or there from, you know, like somebody else, but majority just Michael Jackson and Temptation. I like no music from the 90s. Even now, a lot of music I just don't care for from the 90s, and rap or anything. But as rappers, Eminem was my favorite one. Mostly because I liked anybody who was just different, and then on top of that, he didn't say the N-word, because I don't feel comfortable. So I don't know if you ever heard me talk about this, but you've never heard me say like the N-word is like, you know, like how rappers say it. Like I'll say it with a hard R, like how Dave Chappelle says it, like, you know, to make fun of, like, you know, make fun of making fun of it type of thing. But you will never hear me say it like as a friend type of shit. I would never, because I don't feel comfortable saying it like that. And I went on a rant before, not just on here, but with amongst my own friends, on how like I really thought Dave Chappelle shouldn't be saying that word because Dave Chappelle grew up nicer than I did, and he came out and admitted that people thought everybody assumed he was from the hood, and motherfucker, I knew he wasn't from. I knew he was from Yellow Springs. All right, Yellow Springs is not poor. All right, the poor motherfuckers out there are the rich people where I grew up at. Right. So I felt like Dave Chappelle really shouldn't be allowed to say it, but he kind of let it go, and people just assumed he was from the hood, so he got away with saying it. And honestly, I just never felt comfortable saying it. So that's why and that was a big reason. 2 reasons why I really liked Eminem, because he didn't say the N-word, and on top of that, he was like me. He was more like me. Like he was more kind of that loner in the profession, but he also was good at what he was doing. So, but he was just a loner. He was the kid that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just felt like I connect with him the most. He was the kid that just never really fit in. Nobody really liked him. You can tell, like, him growing up, like, nobody probably really liked him much. He was always alone. He was always, he was always like the loner, type of thing, right? He was always different. So that's why I took to Eminem when I was younger. Chronically speaking. Because I tried to like Ja Rule, I just didn't like. I remember I got that 336 CD, didn't like. It was awful. I thought it was terrible because I liked the Christina Milian song he did on there, Between Me and You, because it just had a different sound. But I just didn't care for. I didn't care for a lot of rap, man, because they were all saying the same shit. It was the same. And then Lil Wayne, okay, and in my opinion, motherfuckers may not like to hear this, but I think rap really grew off of Eminem's back, because until Eminem came out, I tried to like Lil Wayne. I tried to like was it the Hot Boys? I tried to like the Cash Money Millionaires. I tried to like them. I tried to like Ja Rule. I tried them, and they were so boring and annoying to me because they always said the same shit. Like, yo, I'm on this block with my Glock, and I got my Glock, dog, and but you don't know the struggle because I got my Glock. And it was always like they had no fucking variety to how they rap. I remember, like, I liked a little bit of Beanie Siegel, and I still got some Beanie Siegel on my iPhone now. On my iPhone 7. I don't even have an iPhone 10. I got an old iPhone, which I still like my iPhone. The iPhone 7. This one. But I still got some Beanie Siegel now. There was probably some other rappers I just can't think of at the moment. But most rap just sounded, at the time where I was living and what people were listening to around me, because this is before internet. There was no such thing as YouTube. You couldn't just go randomly find, unheard of artists. If the people around you weren't listening to it, they just didn't exist, right? So I would try to watch Rap City in the basement with Big Tigger. You remember him? I used to watch that, and there was just not a lot of genuinely good rappers that had great imaginations to me. It was just all the same shit. I tried to like Lil Wayne. I remember I had the CD that had The Block Is Hot on it. That was the only good song on there, and it was the same shit. I got the block hot. It was just the same shit. It was like all the rappers were rapping the same way, pretty much until Eminem came out. And if people remember correctly, after Eminem came out, he pretty much just wiped up the whole rap game because he was a white dude, so that brought in the white guys to feel like they were okay to like rap. And then he was actually rapping and was getting to a point, or just being funny, or just had like these really weird rhymes that you wouldn't even thought to rhyme type of shit. And he just had a whole different sound. So he just pretty much brought all of the rap community together. And people don't remember this, but Lil Wayne disappeared for a while throughout this period. He didn't rap anymore. And then when Lil Wayne came back, that's when he started to be on this, on this extravagant rhyming thing, right? And then Cassidy was dope as fuck. After Eminem, I think that was the birth of the new age of rap, right? Because before then, again, from my perspective, from where I was growing up at least, there was nothing really creative, nothing interesting to really listen to. And in my opinion, the few groups who were, I think people were really reaching to think that they were something special, and they just weren't. I'm sure I have a lot of negative feedback on who, if I can remember some of the groups, but I just didn't find them very interesting. But again, like Cassidy, amazing freestyle rapper, Go watch his battle raps when he was older. Because he ended up getting bigger and fatter, and then he got in a car accident, and he could never rap the same again. But Cassidy was a great freestyle. Cassidy was one of those, like, it was almost like magic when I heard him freestyle and battle rap. It was like magic. It was like, how is this motherfucker doing that? Like, this motherfucker is truly making a rabbit disappear in a hat. You know what I mean? Like, I'm convinced. I really like Cassidy. He had mainstream hits, but when he did battle, like legit battle raps, that was great. Because a lot of battle rap artists were just not great. But yeah, Cassidy came out. Lil Wayne came out. He was dope as fuck. I'm trying to think of other ones. I just can't think of any off the top of my head now. But yeah, I just can't think right now. Yeah, you completely missed the 80s rap. Yeah. I was born in 86, so yeah, I miss, maybe it was some dope shit then. Maybe I missed the hype at the, I don't say hype because that's kind of inferring it wasn't good, but I missed the popularity, the feel of it. Maybe I was just out of time, man. I was like Captain America in my time. I just didn't associate with much until I turned about 15, 16. Yeah. Because I remember, actually, because I didn't even like Eminem. I'll tell you who introduced me to Eminem. It was actually a more of a hood kind of guy. He introduced me to Eminem, and he said, this motherfucker, listen to this song called White America. This shit is hot. It was by the Eminem show that had White America on. And back then, there was nobody rapping like that back then, right? He said the song White America and then Cleaning Out My Closet. Back then, there was nobody rapping like that about topics like that at the time that was that well done, right? There was nobody doing it. And I still remember because he let me borrow Max Payne on Xbox. the first Max Payne on Xbox. I was supposed to meet him and he was going to let me borrow. I asked him if I could borrow Max Payne. He said, yeah. And he said, dude, you got to listen to, to Eminem. He's like, I'm telling you, he's dope. And I was the one like, no, I really don't want to listen to him like that. You know what I mean? I was the one like pushing him off from it. And he gave me the CD to listen to it. So I remember I downloaded the CD because this is back when, this is the first Xbox. You can download the music from the CD and then play the music tracks in game, right? So I still remember the level I was on in Max Payne. It was like an outdoor level, and it was like a river, I think. And that's where I was. And I just stopped and just listened to the music. I was like, this shit is actually pretty fucking dope. And that's when I was sold on him. I was so like, I think I actually like rap music now. I was sold. But yeah. White true rapper, amazing. Yeah. Eminem definitely, in my opinion, man. I think motherfuckers may not want to agree, but he definitely changed. He was the evolution of rap at the time for sure. Either between rhymes or just either if it wasn't just basic rhymes, it was subject matter. Those two where he was doing. If it wasn't for him, there wouldn't have been the way. And I'll give Nicki Minaj credit too. Nicki Minaj, the friend of mine who lived in that flat I showed you on here, he was on Nicki Minaj long before Nicki Minaj got popular. I'm talking long before she was popular. This was when she was like, he was bringing me her demo tapes and shit, and he was on her. And I still remember my first reaction was, she's dope as fuck, but she's too good for mainstream. And he'll tell you that's what I said. Because she had a whole, like, she was like that next evolution of rap where I can't even think of how I can't imitate it because I'm just not in the rap like that anymore. But she would kind of say these things like that have these kind of like what's like a double entendre type of shit and like kind of cut it off at the end with just that one word, and that was like something that nobody else was doing like anywhere near mainstream, like how she was doing it, and just the whole like how she would just attack in her rap. I give Nicki Minaj credit. When she first came out, she was. My opinion was she was too good for mainstream. Mainstream people are just not gonna like her. It's too good, right? Almost same thing like with when Yeah by Usher came out. I still remember the first time I heard Yeah by Usher. My first thought was, this is dope shit, but this is something somebody just made and it's never gonna make it to radio. Right? That yeah. Because back then there was no sound like yeah. You know what I mean? Back in those days at Usher with the Lil Jon, yeah. Back then there was no song, at least in Ohio where I was at, I'd never heard anything like that before. And the last song I heard that was like that was I Took a Pill in Ibiza, however you want to say it. That's still one of my favorite songs all around. From that Euro electronic shit to the subject matter to the lyrics, to the beat. I still like that song, like the purpose and meaning behind it. The Mike Posner or whatever it is. But it was a remix of his original song, and that ended up blowing up once they made it like the main song. But that's another song. And Buried in Detroit, that's another good one by Mike Posner too. Buried in Detroit. I would recommend go listen to Buried in Detroit by him. That was another. But that didn't get anywhere near the same traction. Nowhere near the same traction. Rap didn't go fully mainstream till the very late 80s. That's what made that era before so good. I believe you, August Line. I believe you, August Line. What's up, Elusive, man? I believe you, August Line. I totally believe. Like, cause I'll admit, man, maybe it was just me. Maybe I was just out of time. Maybe I hit it the whole time wrong. I told the only music I liked was Michael Jackson and Temptations back then, and I could still rattle off all the like many lyrics from Temptation songs. I didn't care for Jimi Hendrix until I got older and I learned how to play guitar. I didn't care for Jimi Hendrix at all until then. My mom liked Prince. Every woman liked Prince, though. There's a few songs I like, but my favorite was probably my favorite mainstream song by Prince was Darling Nikki. I like raunchier songs, like raunchier artists, raunchier like Eminem. That kind of fits that Darling Nikki kind of shit. Like I always liked the raunchier side of entertainment. Favorite music video, Smooth Criminal, Michael Jackson. Can't beat it. It's just the perfect video. The only part that even when I was a kid, I used to imagine, like, if I got a hold to like make the video. Remember that scene where the woman reaches? Okay, there's a scene where Michael Jackson's walking up the stairs, right? He's like, Annie, are you okay? Say, Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? And he's like up on a girl, and then the girl reaches in his pocket and takes his wallet out. And then he just like walks away. I always imagined, what if he just turned around and just haymakered her ass, like, BOM! And they kept walking up the stairs. Even when I was a kid, I used to think about that. Like, yo, why did he let her get away with that shit? You know what I mean? Like, even when I was a kid, because he shot our homie that was back behind him with a knife. You know what I mean? We didn't even know he had a Glock. We didn't even know he was packing. He just pulled a gun out of nowhere. And blew his ass. He shot that motherfucker into oblivion. His body didn't even disintegrate. It just left a outline. And he just kept dancing after that shit. My man, you just committed murder, all right? And he just and nobody cared. They just kept dancing. But Smooth Criminal, best video, best music video. I can't. There's other contenders like Gnarls Barkley, Crazy. That's always a personal favorite. Because I still remember the first time. I seen Gnarls Barkley, Crazy. That was just something I had never seen before too. I won't say you, but I say I'd never seen before, and that was just a complete poetic work of art. I would love to meet that dude, because I think Gnarls Barkley. I think he's another one of those musicians that is very underrated, and I haven't even begun to scratch the surface on anything he's made. But I think he's another one of those dudes who is just wild. There's so many musicians like that though. I love the girl who plays piano, Regina Spektor. I found her randomly and loved back when I was learning how to play piano, because her songs are easier to play, but they're more creative. I would love to meet her too. She's Russian. I'd love the Regina Spektor. Brandy, I really love the song. I really love the artist Brandy Carlisle. She's a lesbian. Brandy Carlisle. She's like kind of country-ish, but she has this acapella called "Dying Day," and her songwriting, from a songwriter ability, and her thing, like I just love her. I just love what she does, and I always thought she would hit main. I always thought Brandy Carlisle would get popular, and she just didn't get. She just never got her big break to get popular. Because her big video was the story that all of these lines across my face tell you the story of who I am. I just thought it was at the time. There was nothing else like that at the time, and I always thought she would get popular, but I always kept track of her. But she just never. And I thought her songwriting was great. The lyrics were great in all of her songs I heard back then. But "Dying Day," that's a great one. Listen to that. Listen to the acoustic version with her just a cappella. And she does a cover of "Folsom Prison Blues" by Johnny Cash, and I thought she does a great job with that. I always really loved Katie Tunstall on guitar, the girl who plays guitar with the loop pedal. I always loved her shit. I just got into this Indian artist. Hold on, let me find her real fast. I just got into this Indian artist. Let me find her. Oh, wait. Didn't mean to click that. Oh, shit. I don't want to. Fuck. I can't open it. I'll post it on something. Because if I open it, I'm going to fuck up another part of the computer. So I'll open it later. But it's this Indian girl. She plays that. I don't know what the name of it is. But it's like that, like a guitar thing. But I got real into her lately too. But yeah, man. When it comes to music, I didn't. Yeah, it was like early 2000s before I felt like I was in a proper zone. Cool J Rap doesn't get enough credit for being one of the best rappers of all time. There would not be rappers like Jet, Nas, Jay-Z, Big Pun, Biggie, Raycon. I never know that's a Raycon. I don't know if I'm saying it right. If not, for Cool J Rap. Yeah, you told me that's before my time. That's before my time of being in the rap. So I can't even say anything, man. I'm glad that you like him though. Too bad you weren't born when Michael Jackson Thriller album came out. That music was everywhere. Yo, what's crazy to me, August? What's crazy to me is that how my cousin was born when it came out, and he remembers it, and he was scared to watch it. He was scared to watch the Thriller music video, and I remember I watched it. So by the time I came around, I wasn't scared of it at all. Like, it was nothing to me. But I watched just how much attention to detail went into the dance moves, because from Michael Jackson's perspective, he said it was very difficult to dance like a zombie and not come off as funny. And I didn't even think about that. Like that could have been that whole thing could have collapsed if they didn't put that extra attention to detail. Like, because if you really think about it, like, you're going to dress up like a zombie and start dancing. Like, how do you make people feel the seriousness in it? You know what I mean? Because that can easily come off as funny or goofy, you know, or like you're just imitating and trying something. But to come off and like, I wasn't scared of it, but I took it serious. You know, there was never a hesitation or doubt, even my first time watching Thriller, that it was anything to be taken as a joke, right? Nothing. Maybe there was by the time I came around, there was a few parts that looked kind of bad, like when his eyes was yellow, and there was something like, you know, because time, makeup, you know, evolves time, but I never took it as a joke. But yeah, Smooth Criminal, man, that's my favorite. Thriller's still popping for. Oh yeah, Elijah, Thriller is great album. 80 going rap only built for Cuban. I have no idea what that is, MGTOW podcast. Maybe I'm just stupid. Maybe it's before my time, or maybe it's just not clicking in my head right now. But I have no idea what that is. I truly believe Michael Jackson's life would have been so different without that Pepsi commercial that burned him up. Word up, yeah. Have you heard about the Metro games? You like on PC? Yeah, Nuclear Bomb. I've never played them because I have to be in. If you're talking about the Metro Exodus games, those games, have always gotten great reviews. I tried to play one back like years ago, but I played it in the Czech language because I was trying to learn Czech like that, which is pretty much impossible to do because their language is just that difficult. You can't really learn it like that. But I didn't know at the time. If you're talking about those first-person shooter games, those games are absolutely amazing. But I have to be in a proper mood to play a first-person shooter. First-person shooters or 2D games, like I can't just go to and just start doing it. Like I have to be. Oh, which means I'm in to bring up. I finally played Sifu when I was gonna play it, and I got so fucking frustrated by it. I'm never touching it again because the difficulty spike in Sifu is so ridiculous. At the second boss, I'm just not putting myself through that. Like I'm just not, because here's the thing. Now, and surprisingly, after I played Sifu, I went online to see if I was just that shitty. I actually did pretty fucking good. So on my first playthrough with the baby sitting on the bed and I'm playing it, I made it to the second boss at age 28. All right, I'm watching other people play on their first playthrough. They was like they was 30 in the first level. Like, so I did pretty fucking good. But what annoyed me the most out of Sifu was I didn't have, because I noticed it's starting to get hard. I'm going to get off here in a minute, but I noticed it's starting to get more difficult in the second level where you first come across those big dudes, like the big dudes, right? I'm like, okay, cool. Like, maybe I just got to get better, right? I mean, maybe I'm just fucked. Maybe I'm just not as good as I thought I was. I got to get better. I wasn't mad yet, right? Like I said, I was age 28 when I made it to the second boss. And the second boss is known to, one guy said that was the hardest boss in the whole game. And other people saying that's the hardest level in the whole game was the second stage. But where the exact moment where it got ridiculous was before you get to the boss. You had to fight these two people. And that's when it was clearly cheating. Like, I'm talking like Madden on all Madden difficulty cheating, to where like, this is not difficult. You're just going to nerf my abilities to make it harder, or just flat out ignore my inputs to make it harder. So for example, before you go in there and fight the second boss, you have to fight these two people, right? And up until now, I was handling myself. I was dying a couple times here and there. As I was 28 by this time. But it got to a point where like I could literally see my hand punch them and connect, and they just kick me anyway, and I just fall, or it would just flat out just ignore my input altogether. Like this is like that shit was like literally Madden level different. So for those of you who don't know Madden, if you play Madden on all Madden level, I caught it cheating. And not only myself, I think there's a YouTube called Ryan Moody. I think he's the YouTuber who actually exposed it. The shit that I found too. When you play out Madden on all Madden, especially like the older Maddens, how to clearly call out Madden for cheating, right? Let's say something happens and a player is running like over 50 yards to get touchdown. If you switch your controller to the person who's running with the ball, the computer will just magically just get a speed boost to catch up with you. But if you switch it to the person who doesn't have the ball, who's getting ready to get scored on, your player will never get that speed boost and they'll just lag behind. And you could switch it multiple times and watch it clearly happen. It's bullshit. That fucking cheap EA Madden like difficulty spike is just pathetic, and that's what Sifu did. It's that because I'm not a fan of Dark Souls. I'm not a fan of Bloodborne, but I'm not mad at Bloodborne because that's, in my opinion, that's difficulty. They're not flat out nerfing your stats. They're just changing up timings on attack, right? Which is a drastic thing in a game like that because it's all about timing. But Sifu and Madden, this is not strictly input. And recognizing the input. Sifu and Madden is, we're going to just not read your fucking inputs. We're not going to read what you did. And we're just going to make the guy do something because we want him to do something type of shit. And I'm just not even putting myself through that because I went through years of that with Madden. All right, for those older guys out there, y'all know how Madden 05 and all them. When you put on all Madden, the computer it's not it's not difficulty. It's punishing at this point. Like, I'm not touching Sifu again. The first level, I thought all that was great. Nothing, and I think I died a couple times, because the camera is just shitty in it. But the game is. That game also suffers from the same difficulty spikes as, was it Midnight Fight Express or something? It's another John Wick type of game. But the difficulty spikes are just wild. It's wild. Like, you'll have fun with it. You're like, oh, I'm having fun. And next thing you know, one guy can just one hit kill you. It's like, what the fuck? Where'd this shit come from? Or it's like some shit that's just like incredibly, like, ridiculous. Like, it's a fun game, but like this fake need for difficulty that just inevitably ruins the game makes me happy to just not play it at this point. And I think especially Sifu, I think where Sifu was going with it was they were trying to adopt that Ninja Gaiden / Dark Souls world of difficulty, but the difference is Ninja Gaiden and Dark Souls, they have a long history and track record of being difficult. They didn't just pop on the market and try to sell it as some shit anybody can play and it's actually hard. Ninja Gaiden and Dark Souls has been around for it's been around for a decade at minimum. You know what I mean? So motherfuckers knew when they would walk into Elden Ring that this shit's gonna be difficult, right? So people are willing, there's a specific crowd that's already waiting for Elden Ring. I mean, I don't care for that type of game because I like to more enjoy the actual game type of shit and actually to enjoy a flowing story. I don't like to get stuck, because I got other shit going on in my life. So, and I'm not saying like I'm better or worse, but that's just my perspective. But Elden Ring, they had already had that fan base built up of difficult. So you knew if it's made by the motherfuckers that made Bloodborne and that shit, okay, well, now you know what to expect. Unless they state otherwise, you know what to expect, right? Whereas Sifu tried to just pop on the market and be like that out of nowhere while having almost cartoonish looking graphics to make you think like, oh, it's a game you can have fun with. No, like they fucked up with that shit, right? And I'm not mad at and I read other reviewers who was giving it like 2 out of 5 because of that, because they shouldn't have sold it like that. Like, I mean, like, okay, because the second boss was so ridiculous. Like, because I found a way to kind of cheese through it, right? Like, for a while, and then it just got too ridiculous because he would do the same 5-hit patterns. Okay, so I'll just block and dodge. I would just hold block and just keep dodging, just don't matter which direction, he is not gonna hit me. But then he would just immediately just like at the speed of light get away from my hit range, like literally at this. So it's like, which one are you trying to be like as realistic as you can be, or are you just faking difficulty for the sake of difficulty, no matter if you look ridiculous or not doing it? Like I said, amongst other things, like I'm clearly punching them and it's just not registering. It's like, are you seeing like, or like I'm clearly like, I remember one time I got hit I got bopped in the face with a staff, and I'm holding the blocking up and I'm literally like, yo, dude, I'm fucking blocking, and I'm holding the controller at the game over screen, and he didn't block, and I'm literally holding the shit. Like it's fake difficulty, man. And I hate when games clearly run out of ideas, so they just make weirdly difficult shit for no reason, just to keep. I hate that shit. So no, I'm never touching Sifu again. I'm not touching it. It's a piece of shit for that. Elden Ring is difficult, but not horrible. If I can play it, anyone can. I haven't played it. I haven't played Elden Ring. I've only watched it. It might be like, it kind of looks like it's the same theory of like you got to time the attack kind of thing, but I haven't played it. But yeah, I'm cool on Elden Ring. They can keep that. Not Elden Ring. I actually want to try Elden Ring, but I'm cool on Sifu. Because I was really enjoying it, man. I thought it was real fun. And I looked online at the statistics. They said that, at level 2, the stage 2 boss was where only 27% of people who played kept playing it after that. People just stopped playing after the second boss. That's fucking pathetic. But that difficulties, especially if you didn't sell it like that difficulty spike, It's pathetic. Where you can look up literally the statistics on how many people made it from one level to the next, and majority of the drop off rate is at that boss, and the game's still out, and you leaving it like that. I mean, hey. Did you ever get into Guitar Hero? Platypus Dreams? No. I tried to play it, but since I could play real guitar, like I can't play the fake guitar anymore. It's just that thing. Like either you can play Guitar Hero or you can play a real guitar. You can't do both. Well, I don't say you can't do both, but it's definitely more difficult to play Guitar Hero after learning how to play like a real. Well, here's my guitar right here. After playing a real guitar, it's a kid's guitar, so it's harder to hit the frets right. It's just C, F, G. But I was playing some randoms. But yeah, like when you could play like a regular, like an actual Guitar Hero, because Guitar Hero has absolutely nothing to do with real guitar, other than it's the same shape of a guitar. So like even when you hit the beat, it's like it just nothing matches up, right? Like when you hit the beat, like there's literally nothing other than the shape of the controller that is like playing a real guitar. So I can't do it. Because I remember a cousin of mine, he was really into Guitar Hero. And so I tried to play with him because I thought, yeah, I play real guitar. And I was shitty. So what we ended up doing was I played my electric guitar with him in the game. I would look up the chords to the song that he would pick. And if it was like an easy song, I think like was Are You Gonna Be My Girl? I think that was one song by Jet. That was one song I looked up. That was like just a 3-chord progression. I think it was like ACD or something like that. So I just played the guitar along with him playing the video game because I couldn't play the video game. Word, get your air guitar and word up. Nada yada. Hey, yeah, go for me. Yeah, definitely go try out on guitar, man. Real time. I'm gonna get off here, man. It's 10:09. But yo, hey, thanks everybody who liked, tuned in, subscribed, commented, donated, everything. Yo, thanks. I'm gonna get out of here because it's late. It's 10:09. So I catch y'all hopefully tomorrow, but I can't promise anything. But hopefully tomorrow I'll catch you. So hey, have a good day, evening or night, wherever you are, and I catch you on the flippy flip, man. Peace out.